Chapter 1430. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch's voice caused silence to descend. Even the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School felt their hearts trembling as their expressions turned unsightly. This was the voice of the Southern Phoenix Matriarch. What sort of character was the Southern Phoenix Matriarch? She was the leader of the Nam Huang clan in the southern regions. Before this, when they were dealing with the Evergreen Kingdom, although the Nam Huang clan did act, the one who acted was merely a holy maiden. Although she was an immortal emperor, it couldn't be said that she represented the entire Nam Huang clan. This was just like how the White Tiger people once sent immortal emperors to the eastern regions to capture Qin Wentian. But after they failed, they didn't make any further moves. Clearly, their determination wasn't strong enough because that wasn't the will of the entire White Tiger people. It was the same for Nanfeng Guhong and the others protecting Qin Wentian. Although there was a trace of the Nam Huang clan's attitude, it couldn't be said that it represented the will of the entire Nam Huang clan. However, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch's stance now had extraordinary significance. She alone could represent the will of the entire Nam Huang clan. The experts from the Sacred Sun sect were incomparably enraged. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch had forcefully interfered. It was basically impossible for them to kill Qin Wentian. As the leader of the Nam Huang clan, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch was a peak-stage immortal emperor and her name had shaken the immortal realms for many years. Right now, it was unknown how powerful she was. Since she had already expressed her stance, how could they kill Qin Wentian? Two geniuses from the Sacred Sun sect were killed. Especially when one of them was a saint child character, how could he be willing to let Qin Wentian off just like that? Fine, since the Southern Phoenix Matriarch has spoken, my Sacred Sun sect will give face to the Nam Huang clan. However, since he said that he wants to challenge those on the same level as him, with so many geniuses here, could it be that he is just saying it with his mouth? The eyes of the immortal emperor from the Sacred Sun sect flashed as he stared at the experts from the peak powers. The White Tiger people, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Supreme Sword School, all of them wanted to kill Qin Wentian. Now that his Sacred Sun sect was defeated, shouldn't these people stand out to express their stance? In that case, they would lose face as well. I'll kill him. A deep roar resounded. From among the many experts of the White Tiger people, a peak mid-level White Tiger Demon King walked out. He had transformed into a human form, but he still exuded an extremely powerful White Tiger baleful chi. His white skin faintly flickered with a golden luster, giving off a strong sense of threat. I'll kill him. Another sharp voice rang out. The gazes of everyone turned over and stared at another person. This person was from the Supreme Sword School, Shanguang Jiani, a peak-level mid-stage immortal king genius. His combat prowess was extremely high and his sword arts were unparalleled. Before this, he saw Qin Wentian actually killing an expert from the Sacred Sun sect with a single strike of his sword. He truly wanted to see how Qin Wentian's sword could still be called a sword under his sword. He insulted Sky Mist Empyrean. If that's the case, I will fulfill his wish. A supremely powerful immortal king from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom took a step out, exuding a suppressive might that could suppress the heavens and earth, terrifying to the extreme. Sha Tian, is he the one who defeated you? Among the crowd, an immortal emperor from the Nine Emperors' immortal state stared at Huang Sha Tian as he asked. Huang Sha Tian stared at his old opponent as he sighed in his heart. He had been working hard in his cultivation, wanting to defeat Qin Wentian once more. Yet, he didn't expect Qin Wentian to advance so quickly, going further and further. Huang Sha Tian was already in existence with outstanding talent. How many years has it been since then? He forcibly broke through to the immortal king realm, all for the sake of defeating Qin Wentian. Now, the demon god mountain descended into the world. When the miracles vanished, Qin Wentian was already a mid-stage immortal king. Such a cultivation speed truly caused people to feel despair. I'm inferior to him. Huang Shatian closed his eyes as he let out a pained sigh. He was unrivaled throughout his life. No one in the same generation as him in the 9 Emperors' immortal state could stand shoulder to shoulder with him. In fact, there were only a few seniors who could be mentioned in the same breath as him. After the opening of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he felt that the era that belonged to him had finally arrived. He was indeed unrivaled until he met Qin Wentian. His fate was destined to have an even more powerful opponent, surpassing him in an even more dazzling manner. After that, Qin Wentian left him far behind, causing him to feel despair in his heart. Sha Tian, you are one of the most outstanding characters in our 9 Emperors' immortal state. How can you belittle yourself? Right now, your heart has already been tarnished, and this man is none other than your heart devil. He cannot be allowed to live. That immortal emperor spoke to Huang Shatian, his eyes flashing with killing intent as he stared at Qin Wentian. It was none other than a junior from the eastern regions who trampled the 3 most outstanding geniuses of the 9 Emperors' immortal state under his feet in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Among the 3, Huang Yudi had died and Huang Shaishan's Dao heart was damaged. He no longer had that indomitable spirit he once had. Regardless of whether it was for revenge or to allow Huang Shatian to regain his sense of self, Qin Wentian had to die. I will kill him for you. A mid-stage immortal king at the side spoke. He was middle-aged and exuded a majestic aura, exuding a sense of imposingness. He stepped out as well, his killing intent gushing forth in the direction of Qin Wentian. The White Tiger people, the Supreme Sword School, the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, the 9 Emperors' immortal state. The immortal kings of the various powers all moved towards the direction of Qin Wentian, as though they wanted to see who would be the one to kill Qin Wentian. This scene caused countless experts in the surroundings to gather, staring at the young immortal king walking down from the peak of the Demon God Mountain. He was just a single person, yet he actually caused so many immortal kings from the major powers to want his life. Many greater demons watched with interest. This was truly interesting. They didn't expect that they would be able to witness a battle between mid-stage immortal kings of the immortal realms. If this was in ordinary times, it would definitely be a grand banquet. Even though the experts here were as common as the clouds, with experts from the immortal realms and desolate mountains all here, this battle was still extremely interesting. Pei Qin calmly watched everything, as though he wanted to see how Qin Wentian would die. He had personally experienced Qin Wentian's arrogance before. Now that he had offended so many major powers, these people all had the intention to kill him. Only to see Qin Wentian glancing at the experts who wanted to kill him. He coldly asked, "Who is it exactly?" As the sound of his voice faded, an uproar broke out. They didn't expect Qin Wentian to be so brazen. "Leave him to me." An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom spoke. His body radiated a tyrannical aura, incomparably tyrannical. "His life is mine." Shanguang Jiani of the Supreme Sword School spoke. His sword intent gushed forth, exuding boundless killing intent. "Back then, he ate my White Tiger people. He will definitely pay the price and become food in my stomach." The immortal king of the White Tiger people stepped out, unwilling to back down. All of them wanted to personally take Qin Wentian's life. Ha ha ha. Qin Wentian actually laughed uproariously when he saw the experts walking out. He stood arrogantly in the air as his aura gushed forth. Divine light circulated around him, treating all the experts in the world as nothing. He arrogantly spoke, "Why don't all of you come at me together? That way, it wouldn't be too troublesome." "What did you say?" The immortal king from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom roared. Qin Wentian's words were simply a humiliation to them. Courting death. The eyes of the immortal king from the White Tiger people gleamed with flames. The 4 of them advanced together. "I say, the 4 of you trash can come at me together. That would save me a lot of trouble." Qin Wentian repeated. The 4 of them almost couldn't control themselves and wanted to attack. However, they didn't directly attack because they wanted to save face. If not, they would really be ganging up on Qin Wentian. That would simply be a humiliation. Fighting or not fighting, scramming or not scramming. What do you guys want exactly? Qin Wentian mockingly spoke when he saw the four of them stopping. Qi. Shunguang Jianyi's sword qi gushed forth as he slashed out with his sword, causing the space around him to be lacerated. His sword flashed past Qin Wentian, terrifying to the extreme. You can find 3 others to help you kill him together. Shunguang Jianyi coldly spoke. Qin Wentian stood at his original location, not moving at all. He stared at Shunguang Jianyi and laughed, "Are you even qualified?" "Yeah. An immature voice drifted over. Little Rascal, who was behind Qin Wentian, swaggered over from the air, appearing extremely comical in this solemn atmosphere. "Wentian, how can you look down on people like this? The others are all heaven chosen from the major powers and seem to be very powerful. You want to fight against 4 of them alone? How would they agree?" Little Rascal leisurely walked over, his words causing the 4 of them to snort coldly. "Although they are trash, but if the 4 of them attacked together and were still defeated by you, wouldn't that make them even more trash? Where would they put their face? All of them are immortal kings from major powers, how embarrassing would that be?" Everyone started, and many of them even started laughing. This little fellow was truly malicious. Where did this little bastard come from? Do you believe that I won't eat you up in a single gulp? The Demon King from the White Tiger people roared in a low voice. You scared this Bao Bao to death. Wentian, why don't we attack together? In that case, the 2 of us will fight against the 4 of them. It would be better if they lost. Little Rascal spoke in a baby-like voice. In such a situation, his voice was extremely comical. However, Qin Wentian merely smiled and nodded, "Sure. Let's go then. You go first, I will encourage you." Little Rascal waved its paws as it spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. After that, an even more terrifying aura gushed forth from his body. Rumbling sounds rang out as his blood surged, as though it was about to ignite. Instantly, a supreme king's might descended from the heavens, wanting everyone to prostrate before him. Bloodline innate ability, flame transformation. At this instant, Qin Wentian's body was enveloped by a terrifying screen of light. His aura soared madly. Little Rascal grinned, revealing a row of white teeth. In addition to that snow-white furry body, it looked even more comical. Since they wish for death, let's grant them their wish. Shunguang Jianyi spoke. Since this is his wish, don't say that we are bullying him. Just make your move. The others calmly spoke. Only to see Shunguang Jianyi of the Supreme Sword School slashing out with his sword. Just a single sword strike was extremely fast, splitting apart the heavens and earth as it appeared before Qin Wentian. Boom! The sword slashed down, slamming into the protective screen of light created by the burning transformation bloodline. That screen of light transformed into the silhouette of a Xuanwu divine turtle. Shunguang Jianyi's sword actually had no way to break through it. The hearts of the spectators trembled. Although it was just a casual sword strike, the sword of Shunguang Jianyi of the Supreme Sword School couldn't even shake Qin Wentian. How terrifying was this? How powerful! Qin Wentian laughed. The protective screen of light changed rapidly as demonic qi towered up into the skies, transforming into an incomparably gigantic divine elephant. Boom! Qin Wentian stepped out, causing the entire space to tremble. He unleashed his divine elephant law domain, causing the entire space to be suppressed to the extreme, incomparably heavy. Chapter 1431. The 4 powerful cultivators frowned as they sensed a powerful aura enveloping them. It was so powerful that they couldn't move at all. Boom! Qin Wentian stepped out. The gigantic shadow divine elephant also stepped out, causing the space around him to tremble unceasingly. In this suppressed space, countless beams of destructive sword light shot out from the sky, aiming for the four experts. Do it. The four of them could faintly sense a powerful threat. One of them spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, Shangguang Jianyi's law domain already descended. Thousands of paragon swords enveloped the area as a sword-type astral soul appeared behind him. He stabbed out a finger towards Qin Wentian, and in an instant, countless swords of supremacy slashed out, emitting terrifying whistling sounds. Terrifying divine elephants appeared behind the experts from the Sky Mist Immortal Empire. A king of divine elephants let out a heaven-shaking roar of rage, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. A terrifying scene appeared in the air. The 10,000 elephants slaughtered their way through the air, wanting to destroy Qin Wentian. The experts from the White Tiger people as well as the late-phase mid-stage immortal kings from the 9 emperors immortal state all unleashed their terrifying attacks. For a time, the entire space was filled with violent energy, wanting to crush Qin Wentian's law domain and divine elephant. Within Qin Wentian's body, the bloodline power from the flame transformation gushed out like a dragon, fusing into the divine elephant. God's hand was activated as every part of the gigantic divine elephant shone with a dazzling light, seemingly indestructible. The Supremacy Reverent Sword, the Sky Mist Immortal Empire's experts, the Tiger King of the White Tiger race and the 9 Emperors Immortal Empire's Emperor-grade immortal light all slammed into the bodies of the divine elephants, causing thunderous rumbling sounds to echo out unceasingly. The entire space trembled violently as the divine elephants trembled. The countless runes on the divine elephants glowed with a terrifying light as faint blood-colored lines appeared, like a sign that cracks were about to appear. But even so, such a scene caused the spectators to be speechless. The combined attacks of 4 powerful experts only managed to cause a tiny crack to appear on Qin Wentian's divine guardian elephant. After this young man unleashed his bloodline power, how terrifying was his defense. What a powerful bloodline ability. Could this be the same as the Demon Kings? Is this an innate bloodline ability? The hearts of everyone trembled. They only saw Qin Wentian continuing to take a step forward. Boom! An incomparably immense force shook this entire space. The 4 experts only felt their bodies growing heavier. The gigantic sword and ancient halberd that were whistling through the air exuded a violent devilish might, as well as the power of destruction and suppression contained within. Qin Wentian's footsteps didn't stop. He continued moving forward, his devil might towered up into the sky, engulfing the entire space. How are you going to kill me? Qin Wentian's voice was extremely domineering. He was like a descendant of the demon god, looking down on the world. His footsteps were extremely fast. He directly crossed the space and descended in front of the experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. He punched out, and the guardian divine elephant was completely in sync with the movements of his hands. They launched an attack, like a real divine elephant, rushing out to fight against the experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. The experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom roared. Their palms blasted out endless light spots. Each light spot was like a giant elephant. The collision between the 2 forces caused the void to tremble. Roar! The White Tiger Demon King roared. His golden body blasted out towards Qin Wentian's guardian divine elephant. Beside Qin Wentian, a phantom rushed out with lightning speed, directly breaking through Qin Wentian's guardian divine elephant and transformed into a golden heaven-devouring beast. Its entire body exuded the tyrannical aura of a king. It opened its mouth and instantly devoured the essence of the heavens and earth, devouring the energy of the myriad existences, completely devouring the attack of the White Tiger Demon King. Many experts who didn't know that Little Rascal's true body was a heaven-devouring beast stared in shock at this scene. Wasn't the talent of this heaven-devouring beast a little too tyrannical? After devouring the attack of the White Tiger Demon King, Little Rascal actually instantly turned and devoured the attacks of the experts of the 9 Emperors Immortal State. The entire space turned chaotic as the energy of the divine elephant was directly devoured into Little Rascal's mouth. King Devouring Beast, Golden Vortex. Everyone stared at the chaotic battlefield. When Little Rascal opened his mouth to devour, a series of golden runes appeared in the sky, transforming into a golden vortex that spanned 100 miles, absorbing all the energy into his mouth. Such a powerful attack, how would Little Rascal digest it after devouring it? Was the talent of a true peak-level Saint Beast really so terrifying? Are you trying to tickle me? Such a weak attack. Little White Tiger, aren't you too weak? If you continue like this, I will eat you up. Little Rascal's immature voice rang out, causing the experts of the White Tiger people to turn ashen from anger. They, the White Tiger people, were also powerful Saint Beasts. Yet, they were actually being humiliated like this. Not only that, their opponent was also a demonic beast. Roar, roar, roar. This was simply ridiculous. The White Tiger Demon King let out 3 roars, unleashing even more powerful innate techniques. However, Little Rascal continued to devour the energy of the Divine Elephant. The entire space was filled with golden runes, transforming into a vortex that could devour everything. On the other side, the experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and Shangguangjiani from the Supreme Sword School surrounded Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's divine elephant was already covered in cracks. Shangguangjiani's attacks were truly powerful. He stood in the air with sword-type astral souls behind him. With a wave of his palms, a myriad of swords manifested, resembling swords from the myriad of constellations, slamming into the shadow of Qin Wentian's divine elephant. The myriad of swords formed a terrifying diagram, stabbing into every corner of the divine elephant. While Qin Wentian was fighting against the immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Shangguangjiani wanted to break through Qin Wentian's defense. This sword technique, he actually wants to form a supremely powerful sword formation. The hearts of the spectators were filled with shock. Shangguangjiani was truly terrifying, as expected of a supreme character from the Supreme Sword School. However, this Qin Wentian was even more terrifying. After his bloodline power erupted, the power of his defense actually grew to such an extent. Even experts with a higher cultivation base than him had to use all their strength before they could break through. Only to see that in the center of the golden diagram formed by the myriad of swords, a single point appeared. Shangguangjiani waved his hand as millions of sword astral light appeared. A sword so sharp that it hurt the eyes of the spectators descended. He directly pointed his finger at the point in the center of the sword formation, and in an instant, the entire sword formation started to move. That gigantic sword in the air pierced through space, landing on the divine elephant. Break! Only to see Shangguangjiani coldly speaking. In an instant, countless cracks appeared on the divine elephant, before it finally crumbled apart. The sword formation vanished as well, and Qin Wentian's figure was finally exposed before them. They could directly attack him. Shangguangjiani stepped out, slashing out with his sword. Qin Wentian lifted his hand and punched out, destroying it. However, he only saw Shangguangjiani standing in the air, exuding an incomparably cold arrogance as he spoke. Without your defense, how can you resist? Qin Wentian suddenly laughed. Shangguangjiani frowned as he stared at Qin Wentian. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing at your ignorance. Qin Wentian mockingly laughed. After so long, you only managed to break through my defense, yet you are still so complacent. I truly feel shame for your Supreme Sword School. Such a person is also a supreme character of the Supreme Sword School. Today shall be the date of your death. Earlier, I've already tested how strong your defense is. Next, I shall let you all experience how strong my attacks are. As he spoke, Qin Wentian's aura of annihilation soared up, enveloping this entire space. God's Hand Law Domain appeared, as well as the Divine Elephant Law Domain. The Shadow Protector manifested once more, alternating between a Divine Elephant and a Xuanwu. Do you think my defense is just a one-time thing? I can unleash it at any time, yet you all can't even break through it. Qin Wentian laughed uproariously. At this instant, the expressions of Shangguang Jiani and the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom stiffened. They stared at the greater demon protector as they felt chills running down their spines. The experts below were all stunned. This, a peak-level mid-stage immortal king actually couldn't even break through his defense. Qin Wentian's greater demon protector could be unleashed continuously. What did this signify? This meant that unless one's attack could break through his defense in an instant, he would be able to unleash a never-ending stream of attacks. If not, how would they be able to defeat him? Earlier, I was merely playing around with you all. Next, it's my turn to attack. Qin Wentian stretched out his hands as boundless devil might enveloped this space. Tens of thousands of devils howled as the god's hand domain enveloped the area. The greater demon protector around Qin Wentian transformed into a gigantic rock, resembling a golden-winged rock. Bzz. A great rock flashed by as Qin Wentian's body vanished completely. That greater demon protector actually transformed into a true golden-winged rock, arcing through the air and unleashing demonic arts of the great rock, aiming for the immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. That expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom retreated. He pressed his palm forward, manifesting a manifestation of 10,000 elephants. However, the great rock directly tore a hole in the defense and shot towards the immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, ignoring the attacks coming from other directions. This was how arrogant his defense was. Scram! The immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom roared. However, when the great rock arrived before him, it suddenly transformed into a divine elephant. As Qin Wentian stepped out, a terrifying boom rang out, causing the immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom to be unable to move. The greater demon protector can instantly transform, even replacing Qin Wentian to unleash attacks. It's like his true self attacking. How terrifying! The crowd mused. Shangguan Jiani watched this scene from the back as waves of shock rose in his heart. After that, he saw the divine elephant trampling the heavens and earth, frenziedly rushing towards the Skymist Immortal King. When the Skymist Immortal King went all out, Qin Wentian took out a gigantic devil saber and directly slashed down. At this instant, that devil saber slashed apart the void. Qin Wentian alone was able to unleash two completely different attacks at the same time. It was like two supremely terrifying characters were fighting at the same time and they were cooperating perfectly. When the immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom blocked the divine elephant's attack, a destructive devil saber manifested in the middle. A black-colored devilish bolt of lightning shot down, and after that, that powerful immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom was directly split apart by that saber. His body exploded as he died. A peak-stage mid-stage immortal king was killed by a single saber strike, his soul disintegrated. Qin Wentian was simply too tyrannical. Chapter 1432. The experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom all had heavy expressions on their faces, extremely unsightly to behold. A peak-stage mid-stage immortal king with overwhelming combat prowess was a great loss to them. Not only that, Qin Wentian was a royal character. They provoked Qin Wentian and ganged up on Qin Wentian, yet they were all killed on the spot. How ridiculous was this? This brat must die. We must not allow him to live no matter what. The stronger Qin Wentian grew, the more intense their killing intent towards Qin Wentian became. As the hatred between both sides deepened, Qin Wentian would surely view the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom with hatred. They mustn't allow him to continue growing. His growth was simply too fast. Before the adjudication battle, he was still an insignificant minor character and didn't attract too much attention. But how many years has it been since then? He could actually already kill peak-stage mid-stage immortal kings. Also, as he grew, the powers around him grew stronger as well. Even the Southern Phoenix matriarch had personally expressed her stance. If they continued to let Qin Wentian live, he would surely be uncontrollable in the future. On the other side, Little Rascal was still frenziedly devouring the attacks of the experts from the White Tiger people and the 9 Emperors' immortal state. These 2 supreme characters wanted to join forces to kill this heaven-devouring beast, but they actually had no way to do so. They could only watch on as Qin Wentian slaughtered the immortal kings of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. After that, he turned to face Shangguang Jiani. At this moment, the sword might radiating from Shangguang Jiani was as violent as ever. He was protected by a screen of swords and was like a paragon of swords. Around him, every strand of aura contained a powerful sword intent. But at this moment, Shangguang Jiani's gaze was filled with an unprecedented heaviness. He stared at Qin Wentian, his sharp eyes filled with an intense trepidation. There was no longer any trace of contempt or arrogance in them. Both his hands folded into a series of seals as the blood in his body started to seethe. In the space between the heavens and earth, a boundless amount of sword qi gushed forth, enveloping this entire space, exuding an incomparably intense pressure. Shangguang Jiani's hands folded into an incomparably profound and mysterious seal. After that, he stabbed out with his finger, and in just an instant, the wind and clouds changed. Kill! Shangguang Jiani spat out a voice. All things in the world transformed into swords. Every single strand of spiritual qi in the world seemed to transform into sword qi, slashing out at Qin Wentian. As a top genius of the Supreme Sword School, even if he felt threatened by Qin Wentian, he still had to face this battle. He could not back down. The Supreme Sword Formation of the Supreme Sword School. Many experts felt their hearts trembling. The protector divine elephant around Qin Wentian was still radiating with terrifying runic light. Rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as the sharp swords slammed into the barrier of light, emitting terrifying sounds. At the same time, in the space around Qin Wentian, countless swords slashed down unceasingly, enveloping Qin Wentian within a radius of several hundred miles. Just by looking at it from afar, it was sufficient to cause the hearts of those watching to tremble. Bzz. The divine elephant transformed into a great rock once more. Spreading its wings, it shot forth with a speed akin to a golden bolt of lightning, piercing through space. Its wings were even sharper than the sharpest swords, unceasingly slashing apart the swords in this space as it shot towards Shangguang Jiani. The instant Shangguang Jian saw Qin Wentian moving forward, both of his hands formed ancient imprints and blasted them towards Qin Wentian. The countless swords in the air emitted terrifying screeches as they transformed into a towering sword formation. Resplendent sword diagrams lit up, shining with resplendent light as a sword imprint imprinted itself onto Qin Wentian's body. In that instant, Qin Wentian could faintly sense that he was locked down by a supreme sword might. He could feel a sense of danger. Seems like Shangguang Jiani was about to unleash his strongest attack. As expected of Jian Yi, the Supreme Sword Formation can summon a true paragon sword. This sword has already locked onto Qin Wentian, the might of the countless swords gathered together, transforming into a single sword. I don't believe it can't kill him. The experts from the Supreme Sword School heaved a sigh of relief when they saw this scene, feeling proud of Shangguang Jiani. The sword formation was formed, ghosts and gods cried. Qin Wentian was already locked down, there was no way for him to escape. Staring at Qin Wentian unceasingly breaking through the defense of the sword formation, Shangguang Jiani's eyes flashed with decisiveness. He stared up at the sky as he roared in rage, the paragon sword is unleashed, annihilating everything. When the sword formation is formed, ghosts and gods can be exterminated. As the sound of his voice faded, that terrifying sword formation summoned a supreme sword. This sword seemed to have appeared from the void, or maybe it was just an illusory shadow, flickering in and out of existence, directly appearing above Qin Wentian. The sword imprinted itself onto Qin Wentian's body, locking him down. When this sword descended, it would definitely land on Qin Wentian. There was no suspense at all. This sword strike would definitely kill Qin Wentian. Combine. Qin Wentian roared. A moment later, the countless palm imprints in his god's hand converged into a gigantic palm imprint that merged together above Qin Wentian. Kill! Shangguang Jiani roared, his killing intent engulfed the heavens and earth. As the sound of his voice faded, the boundless sword diagram radiated boundless light, summoning the paragon sword. A sword shadow shot out from the void, penetrating through everything, directly colliding with the gigantic palm imprint. With a thunderous boom, the palm imprint was destroyed. Second kill. Shangguang Jiani roared again. That gigantic sword diagram was still as resplendent as ever. Qin Wentian inclined his head, his eyes gleaming with tyranny. He punched out with his fist, causing the guardian greater demon to transform into a sky rock and unleash a sky rock demonic art. Numerous great rocks soared up into the sky, colliding with the summoned paragon sword and shattering it once again. Third kill. Shangguang Jiani roared. He stepped out as the might of the sword formation intensified. This sword formation was boundless, there was no end to it. This was the only method Shangguang Jiani could use to kill Qin Wentian. Only this endless stream of attacks would be able to ignore Qin Wentian's super strong defense. Qin Wentian frenziedly attacked, blocking all the incoming swords. However, he knew that as long as the sword formation wasn't destroyed, this threat would never be resolved. I want to see how you are going to block this. Shangguang Jiani coldly spoke, causing the hearts of the spectators to tremble. It was truly rare to see such a powerful battle. This Shangguang Jiani's strength was truly terrifying. Compared to the mid-stage peak-stage Immortal King from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, they weren't even on the same level. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with arrogance when he heard this. His bloodline had awakened, increasing his combat prowess by more than twofold. In addition to the ultimate arts and innate techniques he cultivated, so what if Shangguang Jiani's cultivation base was higher than his? So what if Shangguang Jiani's sword formation was stronger than his? So what if Shangguang Jiani's sword formation was stronger than his? So what if Shangguang Jiani's sword formation was stronger than his? Who says I'm going to block? Qin Wentian roared. The devil might in the air churned intensely as a devilish shadow appeared. A devil's saber appeared in Qin Wentian's hand. His eyes gleamed with a supreme will as he slashed the saber towards the sky. A bolt of black lightning arced through the air, colliding with the incoming sword might, destroying both of them. Jiansheng. Shangguang Jiani coldly spoke. No matter how strong your attack is, I'll destroy it with a single saber strike. The devil will grow even more tyrannical, ignoring all existences. With the devil's saber in his hand, the energy of heaven and earth gushed forth, causing the 10,000 sword intents to whimper, wanting to submit to the might of the saber. Rise! Qin Wentian slashed out with his saber once more, exuding a supreme saber intent that destroyed yet another wave of sword might. He soared through the air, moving towards his opponent, getting closer to Shangguang Jiani. Shangguang Jiani's expression was extremely unsightly to behold. Even such a powerful sword couldn't kill him. I don't believe it. Shangguang Jiani inclined his head as he spoke. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out as a supremely powerful sword manifested in the air, radiating a destructive light as it slashed down towards Qin Wentian. The devil saber in Qin Wentian's hand gleamed with an extremely powerful devil light as he activated God's hand. He stared at the sky and slashed out, causing the 8 greater demons to rush out together with the saber light. Boom! An intense collision rang out in the air. Qin Wentian's countenance was expressionless. He stared at Shangguang Jiani as he spoke, since you want to kill me, you can only die. As he spoke, he slashed out with his saber. Shangguang Jiani's countenance turned pale. The imprints in his hands shot out as sword chi akin to dragons, blocking Qin Wentian's devil saber. But at the same time, a formless saber intent directly penetrated through everything, piercing into Shangguang Jiani's sea of consciousness. At this moment, he only felt his soul trembling as his body trembled. The boundless sword might radiating from him was about to be extinguished. Another beam of saber light flashed as Shangguang Jianyi's body was slashed apart at the waist. After that, under the violent might of the saber, his body was directly transformed into nothingness. Jian 1. The people from the Supreme Sword School roared when they saw this ending. On the other side, the battle was also incomparably intense. The heaven-devouring beast fought against two powerful experts, and after devouring the majority of their attacks, Little Rascal actually grinned at the white tiger that was rushing over. After which, he opened his mouth and let out a thunderous roar. As the sound of his roar faded, boundless killing intent gushed forth from his mouth, transforming into a tempest of destruction that directly engulfed the white tiger. That incomparably terrifying attack actually contained the power of the white tiger people, as well as the power of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. It was as though Little Rascal had spat out the attack he swallowed earlier, using it against his opponent, killing a demon king of the white tiger people. This is the true talent of our royal clan. Such an innate ability, only those of the royal clan would have it. Not far away, an aged figure sighed, feeling incomparably agitated. Even if it was a power stronger than the heaven-devouring beast, he could still devour it and store it within his body, refining the energy within. When he needed it, he could even spit it out and use it as an attack. Not only was Qin Wentian powerful, even a demonic beast was terrifying to such an extent. Everyone was deeply shocked. Not good. The experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state roared. They saw Qin Wentian and Little Rascal rushing towards the last remaining immortal king of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. Stop the battle. The immortal emperor of the 9 Emperors' immortal state coldly roared, wanting to stop the battle. Impudent. The southern phoenix matriarch coldly snorted. The shadow of a phoenix directly appeared, blocking in front of him, not allowing anyone to disturb this battle. Arg! A moment later, a scream of misery rang out. The immortal king of the 9 Emperors' immortal state died. All 4 of them were killed. Qin Wentian and the heaven-devouring beast stood proudly in the air, exuding an unexcelled aura. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he appeared on the back of the heaven-devouring beast. Purgatory, who was behind him, also appeared. Her voluptuous figure and alluring beauty obediently stood behind Qin Wentian. Who else wants to challenge me? I will accompany you to the end. No matter how many of you come, I will kill them all. If you don't dare to come, just scram. Qin Wentian roared. The heaven-devouring beast continued forward, ignoring everything and prepared to leave the Demon God Mountain. Chapter 1433. On the ancient path of the Demon God Mountain, experts were as common as clouds. There were many immortal emperors and demon emperors, but right now, the most famous character was none other than Qin Wentian. Not long after he broke through to the mid-stage of the immortal king realm, he actually dared to challenge 4 peak-stage Empyrean kings from the 4 peak powers. Together with his demonic beast companion, he killed all 4 of them, not leaving a single one alive. That earlier battle left a deep impression on everyone. Regardless of his bloodline power, innate techniques or law domain, all of them were incomparably tyrannical. Such combat prowess was truly unparalleled. Also, that heavenly devourer beast was too terrifying. His strength was shocking and he had boundless potential. In the future, when he matured, it was unknown how terrifying he would be. If he matured into a demon emperor, most probably, even the various saint beast kings of the desolate 10,000 mountain range would have no way to contend against him. Thankfully, heaven-devouring beasts were extremely rare, and didn't belong to any of their species. Only a single heaven-devouring beast was protected by a demon emperor. Even still, it was terrifying, with its enormous body and 9 heads. It was a terrifying sight to behold. Interesting. Those experts who ascended to the peak of the Demon God Mountain together with Qin Wentian all had smiles on their faces. As expected of someone who could enter the palace at the peak of the Demon God Mountain. His combat prowess was truly extraordinary, able to sweep through all opponents at the same level. Ziyu, you didn't misjudge this young man. He is truly powerful and has already surpassed you by quite a bit. At the location where the experts of the Jiang clan gathered, Jiang Zihua spoke to Jiang Ziyu. Jiang Ziyu nodded. His talent was extraordinary, but he was still gradually being left behind by Qin Wentian. However, he wasn't discouraged. He believed that his talent was extremely high, and as long as he stabilized his foundation, there would definitely be a place for him in the immortal realms in the future. In the direction of the 9 emperors' immortal state, the experts were all enraged. Huang Shatian stood among them and stared at that extraordinary silhouette, speechless in his heart. Leaving aside Qin Wentian, even Qin Wentian's demonic beast companion had surpassed him. This caused him to suffer a huge mental blow. It was most probably impossible for him to surpass Qin Wentian. The immortal emperor beside him glanced at Huang Shatian with an unsightly expression. Before this, when he saw Huang Shatian being discouraged, he sent someone to kill Qin Wentian, hoping that Huang Shatian would be able to regain his conviction and continue exploring the path of immortals, climbing to the peak. However, things didn't go as he wished. Not only did he fail to kill Qin Wentian, it became a stage for Qin Wentian instead. Qin Wentian's radiance was dazzling, suppressing the geniuses of the various major powers as he advanced on the ancient path of the Demon God Mountain. Qin Wentian and Little Rascal continued forward. With the Southern Phoenix Matriarch and the Chongqing the Great around, there were no immortal emperors who dared to kill them. If the Southern Phoenix Matriarch and the Chongqing the Great were angered, they could also wipe them out. Many people from the various major powers came here. Once the flames of war were ignited, the consequences would be dire. In addition, there was also the threat of the greater demons from the desolate mountains. During the 10 years since the Demon God Mountain appeared, it was unknown how many greater demons have evolved, threatening the immortal realms. If the desolate mountains invaded the immortal realms, the flames of war would surely be ignited. Staring at Qin Wentian, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch, Chongqing the Great and the other experts also stepped out. The experts of the immortal realms were preparing to return. Now that the divine relic on the Demon God Mountain has vanished, it was time for them to return. Those greater demons from the desolate mountains stood on top of the Demon God Mountain, their eyes gleaming with sharpness as they stared at the experts of the immortal realms. Their eyes flickered with excitement. Since a very long time ago, they wanted to see how prosperous the immortal realms were. Now that the desolate mountains have appeared, they were unstoppable. At this moment, Qin Wentian, who was standing on the back of Little Rascal, suddenly felt a sense of danger. He abruptly inclined his head and stared at the air. In the next instant, a stifling pressure bore down on him. After that, he only saw a fist piercing through space, opening up a spatial passageway, directly punching towards him, Qin Wentian. That fist seemed to originate from the void, yet the fist light swept through the heavens and earth, exuding a heaven-shaking might. The experts in the surroundings all felt their bodies trembling as many of them retreated. Qin Wentian's countenance grew incredibly unsightly to behold. Who was it that dared to act against him? This fist attack locked onto him, penetrating through the heavens and earth, wanting to crush everything. It was basically impossible for him to defend against such a supreme might. This was Emperor Might. An immortal emperor actually acted against Qin Wentian, wanting to kill him. Impudent. The evergreen immortal emperor coldly snorted. He stretched out his palm, and an instant later, an evergreen vine manifested around Qin Wentian, enveloping him within as it soared up into the air, transforming into a gigantic vine. Qin Wentian's fist light blasted through the air, slamming into the vine. The terrifying energy directly penetrated through the vine, tearing it apart. However, this attack was also blocked by Qin Wentian. Eastern Sage. Chongqing the Great coldly spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, several attacks shot through the air, all of them were fist lights. Fist might filled the sky, enveloping the entire ancient pathway. Many immortal emperors all unleashed their might, protecting their juniors and juniors, preventing them from being destroyed by the aftershocks. The demon, the arch-heaven-devouring beast, took a step forward as his eyes gleamed with a demonic light. With a roar of rage, all 9 of his heads opened their mouths at the same time and swallowed towards the void, as though he wanted to devour the entire sky. In an instant, a terrifying black hole appeared in the sky as the destructive fist light was all sucked into the black hole. After which, the heaven-devouring demon, the arch, sucked it all into his body. Eastern Sage. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. As expected, Eastern Sage truly wanted to kill him. However, why did the Dongxing Heaven Emperor dare to act at this moment? Could it be that he was confident that he could kill him in front of the Chongqing the Great and the Southern Phoenix Matriarch? In addition, this attack contained a fearsome spatial energy. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't cultivate any spatial attribute energy. In that case, there was only one possibility. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor must have borrowed the power of an emperor-ranked treasure when he attacked. At this moment, boundless fist light filled the air, enveloping the space above the demon god mountain ancient path. The sky changed color as boundless destructive might cascaded downwards, blasting towards the evergreen immortal emperor. The heaven-devouring demon emperor also moved forward, both of them unleashing attacks to block the fist might. Boom! At this moment, a beam of violet light shot through the sky, shattering everything. Zidi! Qin Wentian's expression turned unsightly. Zidi's silhouette appeared in the air. His long robes fluttered as he unleashed a heaven-shaking attack. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch stepped out, exuding boundless grace. Her clothes fluttered in the wind as she stretched out her hand. A moment later, a crimson palm imprint in the form of a phoenix appeared, colliding with the violet palm imprint. 2 beams of light manifested, transforming into destructive might that gushed outwards in all directions. The aftershocks from the collision blasted into the ancient pathway, instantly tearing apart the entire mountain range as countless cracks appeared. Zidi's attack blasted out again. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch snorted coldly and waved her hand to block. But at this moment, a beam of light directly penetrated through everything, blasting into Qin Wentian. In an instant, the space around Qin Wentian seemed to have been stripped away. It's the heaven-seizing bowl, the treasure of the heaven-seizing great emperor. Someone exclaimed in shock. Qin Wentian's body was directly absorbed by the beam of light, flying far away, ignoring all attacks. Stay here. Chongqing the Great roared in rage, unleashing a terrifying attack. However, the heaven-seizing bowl had already been activated, creating a spatial passageway. The sky was in chaos as a powerful beam of light shot through the air, causing the weather to change. Young Master. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe all turned pale. Little Rascal roared in rage. Purgatory's countenance turned pale. That attack directly locked onto Qin Wentian, wanting to drag him away. It was simply too tyrannical. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch had a cold expression on her face. Her long robes seemed to be burning as a boundless divine glow radiated from her. In an instant, the entire divine mountain seemed to be on fire, transforming into a world of flames. Her eyes stared at the passageway for seizing the heavens. In just an instant, the passageway started burning as an ancient phoenix soared through the air, letting out roars of rage, wanting to incinerate the entire passageway. What a terrifying power! Countless people inclined their heads and stared at the sky. This battle actually involved immortal emperors. In fact, there was even the shadow of the heaven-seizing immortal emperor behind them. As for the Southern Phoenix Matriarch, she also erupted forth with her supreme might. The heaven-seizing passageway was already formed, but the terrifying flames disrupted its laws. Another beam of light shot over. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch's countenance turned cold. She formed hand seals as her phoenix wings blotted out the sky, blocking the beam of light. If you can't be captured alive, just kill him directly. A calm voice rang out. After that, the spatial energy that enveloped Qin Wentian tore everything apart, growing even more violent. Qin Wentian screamed in misery as his entire body was torn apart. Fresh blood flowed everywhere, he was in an extremely miserable state. He took out his treasured cauldron and dove into it. "Get lost!" A cold voice rang out. The beam of light distorted, no longer having a clear direction. The treasured cauldron that Qin Wentian hid in seemed to be swaying in the wind and rain. After that, a spatial passageway appeared as the treasured cauldron flew towards a certain direction. A phoenix feather appeared in the hands of the southern phoenix matriarch. She directly waved it out, and in an instant, the treasured cauldron seemed to have a pair of terrifying wings attached to it, directly vanishing from sight. The spatial energy was also disrupted. After that, the treasured cauldron vanished from this space, no one knew where it went. The southern phoenix matriarch is borrowing the power of space to send Qin Wentian away. In addition, she directly broke the spatial connection so that the southern phoenix matriarch wouldn't be able to locate Qin Wentian. An immortal emperor silently mused when he saw this scene. The southern phoenix matriarch was truly powerful and her methods were decisive. The southern phoenix matriarch truly lives up to your reputation. A voice rang out through the air. Heaven-seizing immortal emperor, what status do you have? You actually dared to act against a junior? The southern phoenix matriarch coldly spoke. In the immortal realms, who doesn't know what sort of character I, heaven-seizing, am? How can I be bound by rules and morals? My actions cannot be obstructed by the heavens. That voice was incomparably tyrannical. Who asked Eastern Sage to beg me? I naturally have to satisfy him. Eastern Sage, for the sake of killing Qin Wentian, you actually didn't hesitate to sell yourself out? The Chongqing the Great spoke. What sort of character was the heaven-seizing immortal emperor? Everyone in the immortal realms was very clear. This man was a terrifying character and had always been lawless, doing whatever he wanted. People referred to him as the heaven-seizing immortal emperor, and there were also people who referred to him as the old devil Duo Tian. Since Eastern Sage wanted him to do something, he would definitely have to pay a terrifying price. You guys better not speak nonsense. Eastern Sage has already joined this seat as a disciple. The heaven-seizing immortal emperor calmly spoke, his words causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. They were all thinking that Eastern Sage must have gone crazy. A lofty immortal emperor, a hegemon of a generation, actually submitted to the old devil Duo Tian. Chapter 1434. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch and Chongqing the Great both felt some worry. Eastern Sage was too ruthless, he must have gone crazy. He was a mid-stage immortal emperor and was once the hegemon of the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. Although the Dongshengshan Gate he led was defeated by the immortal Qianbian Gate, his cultivation base was still there. No matter where he went, he would always be a major character. However, it was very clear that there was only hatred in Eastern Sage's eyes. His goal was to kill Qin Wentian, Bai Wuya and Emperor Qianbian, all the people who implicated him in the destruction of the Dongshengshan Gate and the deaths of his descendants. Qin Wentian had the Emperor Qianbian, the Evergreen clan and even Emperor Yu's Namhuang clan behind him. In addition, Qin Wentian himself was also very cautious, not giving him any chances. His strength continued to grow stronger and stronger. Hence, he chose to enter old devil Duo Tian's tutelage. Even if he had to pay an extremely high price, he didn't mind it. This time around, he should already be dead, right? The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's voice drifted over from the spatial emperor-ranked weapon, the heaven-seizing bowl. How powerful was old devil Duo Tian's attack? Even if Qin Wentian hid and was sent away by the Southern Phoenix Matriarch, the power of that attack should have been enough to kill him. Most probably, even his bones would have been shattered. Old devil Duo Tian, what price did Eastern Sage pay? Are you willing to become enemies with me just to help him? The Southern Phoenix matriarch coldly spoke, her tone filled with unfriendliness. Southern Phoenix, you are extremely beautiful and powerful. You are one of the few people in the immortal realms that this seat would take a liking to. Why don't you marry this seat and we can join forces? From now on in the immortal realms, who would dare to go against us husband and wife? Old Devil Duo Tian laughed. The eyes of the Southern Phoenix matriarch flashed with coldness. Old Devil, I will remember what happened today. You are welcome to look for me anytime. When have I, Duo Tian, ever feared anyone? If Southern Phoenix comes to look for me, I will be filled with anticipation. Old Devil Duo Tian laughed uproariously. After which, the light screen dissipated as well as the auras of the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor and Duo Tian Immortal Emperor. This entire space was silent. Changqing the Great spoke in a low voice, I didn't expect Eastern Sage to actually become a disciple of the Old Devil. This Old Devil is extremely greedy and disregards all rules. Nobody can do anything to him. Eastern Sage has truly gone crazy, he actually begged the Old Devil for help. He must have paid an unimaginable price. Seems like Eastern Sage has gone crazy after that battle. I wonder where that little fellow is now. I can only wish him good luck. The Southern Phoenix matriarch spoke in a light voice. Changqing the Great looked worried. If Qing'er knew about this, she would be very upset. It seemed that he should not tell Qing'er for the time being. Roar. A low-sounding roar rang out. Little Rascal stared at the air as his eyes turned golden, appearing extremely terrifying. Little fellow, in the future, you should continue to follow your elders. The Southern Phoenix matriarch glanced at Little Rascal as she spoke in a low voice. That heaven-devouring demon emperor nodded, he would naturally take good care of Little Rascal. Let's go. The Southern Phoenix matriarch spoke in a light voice. After that, she stepped out and descended the mountain. The expressions of the experts here were all different. The people from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School were naturally happy. Qin Wentian had killed so many people that they lost a lot of face. This fellow Eastern Sage was truly ruthless enough, he actually became a disciple of Old Devil Duo Tian and made Old Devil Duo Tian act for him. This time around, even if he didn't manage to kill Qin Wentian, he would definitely suffer. Huang Shaishan's eyes flashed with a strange light. Would Qin Wentian really die? The experts all left, soaring through the air. The Demon God Mountain transformed back into a mountain range that simply sat on the desolate mountains. It was no longer mystical, but during these 10 years, countless greater demons of the desolate mountains had evolved. In this region, there were simply too many greater demons. At this moment, tens of thousands of demons appeared, causing the earth to tremble. This scene was simply too terrifying. Many experts of the immortal realms soared through the air. When they saw the number of greater demons blotting out the sky, worry appeared in their hearts. Most probably, the humans of the immortal realms wouldn't be able to avoid a huge commotion. In the boundlessly vast immortal realms, the number of major powers was the highest in the central regions. The Snowdrift Sage Hall was one of the peak powers in the central regions. Those who truly joined the Snowdrift Sage Hall were all females. As a peak power, the Snowdrift Sage Hall naturally controlled an immense amount of power and authority in this vast region. The Cold Nether Immortal Lake was one of the cultivation grounds of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. This immortal lake flowed with cold nether energy and was extremely suitable for the disciples of the Snowdrift Sage Hall to cultivate. In fact, the city where the Cold Nether Immortal Lake was located was named after the Cold Nether Immortal City. The Cold Nether Immortal Lake was located in the central region of the Cold Nether Immortal City. It was a cultivation ground that belonged solely to the Snowdrift Sage Hall and was guarded by many experts. There would often be disciples of the Snowdrift Sage Hall coming here to cultivate, not allowing outsiders to enter. At this moment, the Cold Nether Immortal Lake was filled with Cold Nether Immortal Chi. The Immortal Lake was located in the middle of a mountain, and the mountain was located in the center of the city. There were many experts guarding the Immortal Lake, all of them were females. There would often be disciples from the Snowdrift Sage Hall coming here to bathe in the cold Nether Immortal Lake. They naturally wouldn't allow anyone to barge in and disturb them. There were many female disciples at the cold Nether Immortal Lake. All of them were clad in skin-tight clothing as they hid within the misty lake. Their voluptuous bodies were faintly discernible, and their figures were all excellent. In fact, some of them were dressed in extremely sexy attire, with only a few pieces of cloth on them. By cultivating in the lake, they would be able to come into contact with the cold Nether Immortal Chi and absorb it into their bodies. Outsiders wouldn't be able to enter this place, there was naturally no need for them to worry. Qingyi, I heard that your cultivation base improved again. Why are you cultivating so desperately? Did you receive some sort of stimulation? At this moment, a beautiful woman with a sexy figure stared at a woman opposite her. That woman had her eyes closed and her skin was as fair as jade. Her face was also extremely beautiful. What does it have to do with you? The woman referred to as Qingyi coldly spoke. No matter what, I'm your senior apprentice sister. Can't I even ask? Qingyi, why must you push me 1,000 miles away? That female smiled. Chu Qingyi's eyes were still closed, as though she didn't hear anything. Gotcha. Just as they were speaking, the defensive light barrier in the air seemed to have shattered. A thunderous sound rang out. The woman in the cold Nether Immortal Lake suddenly raised her head and stared at the sky. An extremely cold light flashed in her eyes. Who is it? Their countenances drastically changed. There was actually someone who dared to barge into the cold Nether Immortal Lake. Was he courting death? The experts in the mountain range in the air flew out one after another. However, the speed of that figure was simply too fast, like a bolt of lightning descending from the sky. Upon closer inspection, it was actually a human figure. Impudent! Mo Xiao Xiao roared. She waved her palms as a powerful wave of cold nether energy directly enveloped that figure and flung it to the side. After that, that figure changed his direction and smashed into the mountain range at the side. With a thunderous boom, a hole was smashed through the mountain range. Streams of cold energy gushed forth as the women hurriedly put on their clothes. Their killing intent gushed forth. Mo Xiao Xiao couldn't be bothered to bicker with Chu Qingyi anymore. She walked towards the lakeside. This person was simply too audacious, he actually dared to come here to spy on them. He was simply courting death. Chu Qingyi's eyes were still closed. Her clothes were thin but they covered all the important parts of her body. She wasn't afraid of others peeping on her. As for that audacious person, Mo Xiao Xiao would naturally deal with him. That figure that descended from the sky was none other than Qin Wentian. Even the Dongxing Heaven Emperor felt that that strike would take Qin Wentian's life. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying the attack Qin Wentian suffered was. Although it was only for an instant, his body felt like it was about to be torn apart. After rushing into the cauldron, he only left behind a strand of his will as he kept the cauldron. He was worried that when he landed on the ground, he would attract killing intent from the cauldron. At this moment, when he landed on the ground, his body suffered another attack. His body trembled even more violently as his consciousness gradually turned blurry. His eyelids drooped helplessly as he stared at the incoming figures. His vision was extremely blurry, but he could faintly see a group of beautiful women with sexy figures. Naturally, he could also feel the coldness radiating from them. In the next instant, his eyes closed as he lost consciousness. He actually fainted. However, Qin Wentian wasn't worried that he would die from his injuries. Back then when he condensed his seventh astral soul, there was still a type of attribute energy that could guarantee his survival. However, he was worried that if he fainted, he would be ambushed by others. Mo Xiao Xiao walked over. When she saw the young and handsome figure of Qin Wentian, her gaze turned cold as she spoke, he actually didn't die after receiving an attack from me. This lecherous fellow seems to be an Immortal Foundation expert. Kill him. Someone walked over, exuding a cold aura. On the other side, Chu Qingyi's immortal sense swept over. When she saw that face clearly, her body trembled violently as she roared, "Stay your hand." Her body directly shot out from the lake. She couldn't care less about her beautiful figure being seen by others. She directly rushed to the side of the mountain rampart. Mo Xiao and the others turned their heads and stared at her. "Qingyi, what do you mean by this?" Only to see that Chu Qingyi didn't seem to hear her words. She directly rushed to the side of Qin Wentian and stared at the fainted figure. Her heart pounded violently, she didn't know why, but when she saw this face which should have been filled with hatred, her heart would tremble so intensely. "Don't touch him." Walking forward, Chu Qingyi carried Qin Wentian up, causing Mo Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes to freeze. Although Chu Qingyi's clothes only covered the important parts of her body, she was still extremely sexy. But hugging a man in such a manner wasn't normal at all. "Qingyi, what do you mean by this? This man is so lustful, yet you still want to protect him?" Mo Xiaoxiao coldly laughed. "He's here to look for me." Chu Qingyi glanced at Mo Xiaoxiao and directly walked past her. This sentence should be sufficient for her to get rid of Mo Xiaoxiao's pestering. And as expected, Mo Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes flickered as she started giggling, an expression of interest on her face. Looking for her? Could it be that Chu Qingyi already had someone in her heart? No wonder. It's just that the man she was in love with couldn't even withstand a single strike. How disappointing. Chapter 1435. Chu Qingyi carried Qin Wentian and continued forward, exiting the cold nether immortal lake. After that, they came to a palace. She placed Qin Wentian down and put on a robe, staring at the unconscious figure before her with a frown on her face. Qin Wentian's injuries were extremely heavy, there was a high possibility that he was blasted down from the air by someone. It was impossible for Mo Xiaoxiao to injure him. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian was already strong enough to fight against Huang Shatian. How could a single strike from Mo Xiaoxiao be able to injure Qin Wentian? That was merely her wishful thinking. Although she didn't know what encounters Qin Wentian had after that, it was clear that his strength had improved much faster than her. Who was the one who injured him exactly? How could he be so ruthless? "Should I save you?" Chu Qingyi stared at Qin Wentian. Her state of heart was thrown into chaos by the appearance of Qin Wentian, there was no way for her to calm down. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, she hated Qin Wentian to the core. Because of him, she was injured and was almost humiliated. Although she was saved by him in the end, he still kept her by his side, torturing her unceasingly, causing her to suffer humiliation that she had never experienced before. But now, she couldn't bring herself to hate him. In fact, she even had the thought of saving him. After struggling for a long time, Chu Qingyi carried Qin Wentian up. After that, her silhouette flickered as she left this place. Qin Wentian had yet to recover from his injuries and it was unknown if his life would be in danger. She herself didn't have the ability to save Qin Wentian. If she wanted to help him, she could only temporarily send him to the City Lord Manor. The City Lord of the Cold Nether Immortal City was a peak-stage immortal king and was a subordinate power of their Snowdrift Sacred Hall. He should be able to help Qin Wentian. It was just that she didn't wish to go there, but now for the sake of Qin Wentian, she could only make a trip there. In the Cold Nether Immortal City, the City Lord Manor was majestic and imposing. Chu Qingyi brought her people here and no one in the City Lord Manor dared to obstruct her. All of them recognized her. Chu Qingyi entered the City Lord's mansion and came to a residence. A group of experts came to greet them. The person in the lead was a beautiful woman. She had a beautiful appearance and an extraordinary demeanor. She was the young miss of the City Lord's mansion and had a good relationship with Chu Qingyi. Qingyi, who is this? The woman couldn't help but ask when she saw Chu Qingyi carrying a man over. A friend of mine, Lu Yao. Her injuries are very serious. Can you help me? Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes looked at Lu Yao. Qingyi, I will naturally help you. I have a medicinal pill here that was given to me by my father. It's a 7th rank Great Recovery pill. It should be able to protect his life. Lu Yao took out a resplendent Immortal pill as a fragrance wafted out, causing Chu Qingyi to feel extremely moved. She then spoke, Lu Yao, I owe you a favor. Don't worry about it. My father is an alchemist. You should also know that I don't lack medicinal pills. Lu Yao smiled and passed the pill to Chu Qingyi. After that, Chu Qingyi fed the pill to Qin Wentian. Lu Yao felt bewildered in her heart when she saw this scene. She and Chu Qingyi have known each other for a very long time, and it was very rare to see her so nervous about someone. A 7th rank medicinal pill was something that could save an immortal king. Yet, she actually didn't hesitate to give it to a friend. After the pill entered Qin Wentian's body, a medicinal fragrance permeated the air. His blood began to circulate as his skin glowed with a luster, no longer as pale as before. Seems like it's effective. Don't worry, stellar martial cultivators all have powerful self-recovery abilities. In addition to the effect of this medicinal pill, he will definitely be fine. Lu Yao spoke in a light voice. Chu Qingyi nodded. If you are worried, I will brew some more medicinal soup for him to consume, allowing him to wake up earlier. Lu Yao smiled and walked out. Chu Qingyi stared at Qin Wentian's countenance in a daze. It was unknown what she was thinking in her heart. Her emotions were extremely complicated. Only after Lu Yao returned did she take the medicinal soup and feed it to Qin Wentian. After consuming it, the color on Qin Wentian's face gradually returned. The medicinal effect was even stronger than before. He should wake up soon. Lu Yao spoke in a light voice. I'm going out for a walk. Chu Qingyi spoke and walked out. Qingyi. Lu Yao started as she called out. Help me take care of him. Chu Qingyi's voice drifted over. Lu Yao completely didn't understand what was going on. She stood beside Qin Wentian and stared at his face while thinking in her heart that Qingyi's standards were extremely high. She was also a holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. The person she fancied should definitely be an extraordinary character. At this moment, the energy in Qin Wentian's body automatically circulated. Not long after, he regained control of his consciousness and opened his eyes. A gentle and beautiful countenance appeared in front of him. After sensing his body, he could actually sense the effects of the medicinal pill. He knew that he had suffered extremely heavy injuries. Although his body could recover slowly, this medicinal pill had evidently increased the flow of energy in his body, causing his body to recover rapidly. In just a short period of time, he had already regained consciousness. Where am I? Qin Wentian asked. This is the City Lord Manor. You should rest well and recover from your injuries. The medicinal effect of the Grand Recovery Pill should still be present. Don't waste it and absorb it all. It will be beneficial to you. Lu Yao smiled sweetly. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly and started to circulate the energy of the medicinal pill to every part of his body. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. During these 7 days, Qin Wentian's recovery was very good. The external injuries on his body gradually recovered and he could already stand up and walk. Although the internal injuries on his body were more serious, they were also gradually recovering. At this moment, he was walking in the courtyard when Lu Yao walked over. She smiled at him. Why are you up? Just taking a walk. Qin Wentian smiled. Lu Yao, thank you for taking care of me during these few days. I was only entrusted by someone. There's no need to thank me. Lu Yao smiled innocently. Entrusted by someone? Qin Wentian curiously asked. That's right. Holy Maiden Qingyi entrusted me to take care of you. Yet, she chose to leave just like that. Lu Yao bitterly smiled as she shook her head. Qin Wentian started, Holy Maiden Qingyi. You don't know. Lu Yao stared at Qin Wentian in puzzlement. The Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sacred Hall, Chu Qingyi. She was the one who brought you here when you were heavily injured and asked me to take care of you. Chu Qingyi. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he gradually recalled. A figure appeared in his mind as a strange look appeared in his eyes. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, Chu Qingyi hated him to the core and was tortured by him. Yet, she actually saved him. And she even entrusted Lu Yao to take care of him. Are you going to help just because Chu Qingyi asked you to? A cold voice drifted over. Lu Yao inclined her head, only to see a group of silhouettes barging into her residence. They soared through the air and descended above her head. Holy Maiden Mo, Lu Yao's expression changed slightly when she saw Mo Xiaoxiao. You gave him a grand recovery pill, right? Mo Xiaoxiao coldly glanced at Qin Wentian and Lu Yao. Qin Wentian remembered that this woman was the one he saw before he fainted. Before he landed on the ground, this woman was the one who attacked him. Yes. Lu Yao nodded. Impudent. Mo Xiaoxiao coldly snorted, the grand cyclic pills concocted by the City Lord Manor are only given to the Snowdrift Sage Hall every year. It's fine if your father gave it to you, but you actually gave it to a lecher. Since this is the case, why don't you just give it to the Snowdrift Sage Hall? Holy Maiden, this grand recovery pill belongs to me. I should have the authority to decide who to give it to, right? Lu Yao inclined her head and stared at Mo Xiaoxiao. Lu Yao, how can you speak to the Holy Maiden like this? Why are you not apologizing yet? Beside Mo Xiaoxiao, an extraordinary-looking young man stood proudly as he coldly spoke. That's right. Why should I apologize? Lu Yao stubbornly replied. You are getting more and more outrageous. Are my words useless now? Immediately apologize to the Holy Maiden. The young man coldly spoke again. Lu Yao gritted her teeth, unwilling to accept this. Qin Wentian frowned when he saw this scene. Just when he wanted to speak, a whistling sound drifted over from afar. Chu Qingyi's silhouette flickered as she descended. She coldly spoke, Mo Xiaoxiao, Lu Feng, what is the meaning of the two of you bullying Lu Yao? What is the meaning of this? Chu Qingyi, it's fine if you have an affair, but you actually brought your lover to the Lu clan and even made use of the relationship between you and Lu Yao to swindle the Grand Recovery Pill. Don't you know that our Snowdrift Sage Hall's annual demand for the Grand Recovery Pill is simply insufficient? Yet, you actually wasted it on an insignificant person. Qin Wentian was shocked when he saw Chu Qingyi. He didn't expect that it was really her. Chu Qingyi would actually help him. Holy Maiden Qingyi, Mo Xiaoxiao is right. As the Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Lu Yao naturally wouldn't object to your request. However, a 7th grade Grand Recovery Pill is extremely precious. You used it to treat your man's injuries instead of offering it to the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Isn't this a little too much? The young man also added. Are you guys intentionally trying to make things difficult for me? Chu Qingyi's countenance turned cold. This Mo Xiaoxiao had always been at odds with her. Now, she actually wouldn't let go of this matter. Clearly, she was intentionally trying to make things difficult for her. I've already said it. This Grand Recovery Pill can be considered a favor Chu Qingyi, owe Lu Yao. I will naturally repay her, it has nothing to do with you guys. Chu Qingyi coldly spoke. Am I the one who consumed this pill? Qin Wentian took a step forward as he spoke. A moment later, Chu Qingyi and Lu Yao both turned to him. They only saw Chu Qingyi had a complicated expression on her face. When facing Qin Wentian, she actually didn't know what to do. If I consumed it, I will naturally compensate Lu Yao. There's no need for others to repay the debt for me. Qin Wentian spoke. Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes trembled as she lowered her head, feeling a little disappointed. Did Qin Wentian still hate her? He wasn't willing to accept even a trace of her kindness. You still want it? Mo Xiao laughed. Do you know the value of a 7th grade grand recovery pill? With just you alone, what can you use to repay me? The young man also laughed, mockingly staring at Qin Wentian. Did I consume the pill you guys gave me? Qin Wentian stared at Mo Xiao and Lu Feng as he asked. Although you didn't, it has something to do with us. Mo Xiao coldly spoke. If you didn't, why are you guys talking so much nonsense? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Chapter 1436. Naturally. Lu Zhan nodded. How could he concoct a 7th grade great recovery pill alone? Hence, if it wasn't for the fact that Qin Wentian was heavily injured, Chu Qingyi wouldn't have sent him to the Lu clan in the city Lord Manor. Qin Wentian stared at Chu Qingyi, knowing that she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. He could only sigh silently. Chu Qingyi, we had some grudges in the past, but I've already forgotten them. Now, you don't owe me anything, there's no need for you to do this, there's no need for you to rush about. Scram. Chu Qingyi coldly spoke. He actually dared to use this to threaten her. The Lu clan would send some great recovery pills to the Snowdrift Sage Hall every year. However, the Lu clan is merciful and wouldn't take all of them away. They would leave some for those who have done meritorious deeds. It's understandable for you to give it to your daughter. However, Lu Yao didn't keep it for herself and instead gave it to a lecherous man. That man was lusting after beauty and actually dared to barge into the cold nether Immortal Lake. This was simply disgraceful and he was injured by me. But Lu Yao actually used a great recovery pill to save him and even spoke rudely, saying that this matter has nothing to do with me. What do you think? Very good. Since you said this, we can only invite Lu Yao's father out. The great recovery pill concocted by the Lu clan should have something to do with the city Lord Manor, right? Mo Xiao coldly snorted. In addition, the city Lord Manor was also extremely complicated. The city Lord Manor was a subsidiary power of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. But for generations, the city Lord Manor had sent many people into the Snowdrift Sage Hall. In fact, some of them even held high positions and had extraordinary statuses. Hence, the city Lord Manor couldn't be treated as an ordinary power. Chu Qingyi's countenance changed. She was very clear what sort of character Qin Wentian was. Back then, how glorious was he in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. He fought against the geniuses of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, and even when facing the encirclement of the various major powers, he was still incomparably arrogant, leading many experts to clash against the enemies and even roasting white tigers for food. Lu Yao is ignorant and made a mistake. I will naturally punish her severely. Lu Zhan spoke. That's right, an old man replied. When the people of the Lu clan saw how resolute Chu Qingyi was, they couldn't help revealing a strange light in their eyes. Mo Xiao smiled. She was happy to see such an ending. The more Chu Qingyi protected this person, the more interesting it would be. She wanted to see how Chu Qingyi was going to protect him. Lu Zhan said, Lu Yao is not sensible. Holy Virgin, please don't be offended. However, the recover pill has been taken, and nothing you say can help. I still have a recover pill, and I am willing to offer it to you. Qin Wentian, the experts of the Lu clan are as numerous as the clouds. This isn't my power, it's Mo Xiao's world. Don't be rash, otherwise, if they really attack you directly, I won't be able to stop them. Chu Qingyi transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian, bear with it for a while, I'll definitely protect you. Land battle. Mo Xiao shouted coldly. She didn't give him any face. She said, the recover pill was made by the Lu clan. It wasn't your work alone, right? But I can't forget it. Chu Qingyi smiled. She seemed to be a little sad, and then she turned around and left. She knew that people like Qin Wentian hated her from the beginning. Now, he definitely wouldn't have much of a good impression of her. She didn't ask for anything. She just followed her heart. She couldn't let anything happen to Qin Wentian here. Now, although he was injured, his pride wasn't something that Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Feng could insult. Yes. Someone nodded. After that, Mo Xiaoxiao and the others all left. Lu Zhanfei remained here alone. He stared at Chu Qingyi, and then coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. Qingyi, if you agree to marry me, Aunt will definitely not pursue this matter. Although I don't know what your cultivation base is, the current you can kill him with a single slap. You consumed the recover pill of my Lu clan, yet you still dare to be so arrogant? Lu Feng coldly laughed. Kill him to prove your Dao heart. Qingyi, only by doing so will the Snowdrift Sage Hall not punish you. If not, no matter how outstanding your talent is, the Snowdrift Sage Hall will definitely be disappointed in you if you act so recklessly. At this moment, a voice rang out. The person who spoke was a white-robed young man with long hair. He was extraordinarily handsome and exuded an aura of elegance. This person's cultivation base was at the peak of Immortal Foundation and was extraordinary. His name was Lu Zhanfei and he had an extremely good relationship with Mo Xiaoxiao. He was a core descendant of the Snowdrift Sage Hall and had outstanding talent. He was also the nephew of Mo Xiaoxiao's elder in the Snowdrift Sage Hall and was highly regarded by the entire Lu clan. He had once pursued Chu Qingyi but was rejected by Chu Qingyi with no hesitation. He was infuriated in his heart and had always wanted to get his hands on Chu Qingyi. Qin Wentian was somewhat taken aback when he heard Chu Qingyi's words. He asked, "Why did you do this?" "Uncle, this matter has nothing to do with Lu Yao. I was the one who asked her for the recover pill. There's no need for you to punish Lu Yao. Mo Xiaoxiao, if you want to do something, you can direct it at me. There's no need to act so arrogantly." Chu Qingyi's eyes were cold as she stared at Mo Xiaoxiao. "Father, on what basis?" Lu Yao was unwilling to accept this. Since things have come to this, you can go. Since Holy Maiden Mo Xiaoxiao said that she would make a decision during the birthday banquet, I believe nothing will happen. Lu Zhan spoke. Chu Qingyi nodded her head and spoke to Qin Wentian, "You stay here and recuperate well. Wait for my return." "Shut up." Lu Zhan berated, his words causing a look of grievance to appear on Lu Yao's face. "What else?" Mo Xiaoxiao coldly laughed. "I've already sent someone to invite her." Lu Feng calmly spoke. Chu Qingyi's expression was extremely unsightly to behold. Seems like this Mo Xiaoxiao has steeled her heart, wanting to blow this matter up and damage her reputation. After all, the two of them were both holy maidens of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Although they were from the same sect, the competition between them was extremely intense. This Mo Xiaoxiao had always been at odds with her. "Uncle, this matter was caused by me and originally had nothing to do with Mo Xiaoxiao. Who would have thought that Mo Xiaoxiao would use this opportunity to make a fuss and intentionally blow things up, implicating Lu Yao? I'm very sorry, I will do my best to salvage the situation. For the next period of time, I'll have to trouble Uncle to help me take care of my friend." Chu Qingyi instructed Lu Zhan. There were still some things she had to do, she had to go and resolve this crisis as well. Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Feng started when they heard Qin Wentian's words. After that, they laughed as their immortal senses impolitely swept over Qin Wentian. Right now, there was a disciple of the City Lord Manor in the Snowdrift Sage Hall who had a high position. He was an elder of Mo Xiaoxiao's faction and they had a very good relationship. As for Lu Yao's aunt, she was also in the Snowdrift Sage Hall and was an elder of Chu Qingyi. However, her status wasn't that high. Hence, the City Lord Manor was biased towards Mo Xiaoxiao while Chu Qingyi had a good relationship with Lu Yao. Lu Zhan glanced at Chu Qingyi before glancing at Lu Yao. He could only sigh. When Lu Zhanfei heard this, his expression turned extremely unsightly. His cold eyes glanced at Qin Wentian as he spoke, "You would rather marry a trash than to lower yourself to me. I, Lu Zhanfei, am already trying to break through to the Immortal King realm, how can I not be worthy of you, Chu Qingyi? You will regret this. Qingyi, I initially thought that your standards are very high, to think that you wouldn't even be interested in Leba of the Thunder God Hall. Who would have thought that?" Mo Xiaoxiao giggled. "Your aura is so weak yet you still dare to speak to me like this. You truly don't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. Qingyi, you are my junior sister, I naturally won't do anything to you. It's just that you are the holy maiden of my Snowdrift Sage Hall, how can I allow you to walk down the wrong path and be infatuated with worldly emotions? You actually didn't mind asking for a grand recovery pill to heal the injuries of such a lecherous character." Mo Xiaoxiao slowly spoke. "Junior sister Qingyi, I will naturally report this matter to the Snowdrift Sage Hall. It's still not too late if you make a decision now." Although he was currently extremely weak and his body was heavily injured, a mere Immortal Foundation character actually dared to say that she wanted to kill him? During these days, all of you better keep a close eye on junior sister Qingyi's lover. Don't let him escape. Mo Xiaoxiao coldly commanded. "Are you sure about your words?" Qin Wentian glanced at Lu Zhanfei. Lu Zhanfei could sense an extraordinary gaze from Qin Wentian and couldn't help but feel provoked. He coldly replied, "You aren't qualified to speak to me." And as expected, not long after, a group of experts arrived. There were even several characters from the older generations, including the elders of the City Lord Manor. Lu Yao's father was here as well, his cultivation base was at the initial stage of the Immortal King realm. When he arrived here, he instantly understood that Lu Yao must have caused trouble. Seems like she must have offended Mo Xiaoxiao. Who would have thought that she would still be embroiled in the battle between Mo Xiaoxiao and Chu Qingyi? This was something he didn't wish to see. When the time comes for the birthday banquet, my martial uncle would definitely return to offer his congratulations. Let's wait for my martial uncle to return and settle this matter at the birthday banquet. Mo Xiaoxiao calmly spoke, her words causing Chu Qingyi's countenance to change. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over as killing intent flashed in his eyes. This person actually wanted Chu Qingyi to kill him to prove her Dao heart. Stepping out, Chu Qingyi arrived before Qin Wentian. She stared at Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Feng. Mo Xiaoxiao, don't be too impudent. What he said is right. Without using your grand recovery pill, what qualifications do you two have to stand here and speak? After speaking, he coldly snorted and flicked his sleeves as he departed, leaving behind only Lu Yao's father Lu Zhan and his group. "Uncle!" Chu Qingyi called out to Lu Yao's father. As the sound of her voice faded, her cold eyes swept over the crowd, using a threatening gaze to stare at the elders of the Lu clan. Even if this place was under Mo Xiaoxiao's control, she was still the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. If these people wanted to act against Qin Wentian, they better consider clearly whether they want to endure her anger or not. The birthday banquet of the City Lord is about to arrive, right? Mo Xiaoxiao spoke. A bitter smile appeared on Chu Qingyi's face but she didn't reply. She merely stared at Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Zhanfei as she coldly spoke, "I borrowed the grand recovery pill from Lu Yao, I will naturally return it to her. This matter has nothing to do with Uncle Lu, I will bear all the consequences. If you want to report this to the Snowdrift Sage Hall, feel free to do so. I will wait for their orders. As for those who dare to touch my friends in front of me, they would be forming a death grudge with me, Chu Qingyi. Holy Maiden Qingyi, Holy Maiden Xiaoxiao." Lu Yao's father Lu Zhan called out. Chapter 1437. Chu Qingyi left. Lu Zhan glanced at Qin Wentian as he sighed and left as well. He was extremely unwilling to be embroiled in the internal conflict of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, but there was no way to avoid it. Qin Wentian calmly watched everything that happened. Although his heart was fluctuating, there weren't too many waves in it. The Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Mo Xiaoxiao, wanted to fight against Chu Qingyi, and she actually chose to use him as the target? This was truly a ridiculous thing. Did she treat him as the breakthrough point for Chu Qingyi? She was destined to be disappointed. What's your relationship with Qingyi? Lu Yao curiously stared at Qin Wentian. From the conversation between Chu Qingyi and Qin Wentian, the two of them didn't seem to be good friends, let alone lovers. On the contrary, there seemed to be some grudge between the two of them. But since this was the case, why did Chu Qingyi not hesitate to ask for a grand recovery pill to save him? There's no relationship at all. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Lu Yao started, she smiled and shook her head. It's fine if you don't want to say. There's still some time before the birthday banquet. You should recuperate well. Qingyi will think of a way to protect you. Many thanks. Qin Wentian nodded lightly to Lu Yao. This maiden was able to promise to take care of him in such an environment. She was truly a good friend. As for his safety, it wasn't up to others to protect him. The characters he needed to be wary of were immortal emperors, not a mere city lord manor. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had invited an extremely powerful character to act. This was a troublesome matter. Unless there was an extremely powerful character protecting him, he mustn't appear in the line of sight of Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. He mustn't let Dongsheng Heaven Emperor know where he was. For the next period of time, Lu Yao took good care of Qin Wentian. She would often brew some medicinal pills for Qin Wentian to consume. Qin Wentian originally didn't need these, but upon seeing Lu Yao's insistence, he thanked her for her kind intentions and didn't reject her. At the same time, his body was recovering unceasingly, slowly recovering from his injuries. His spirit, qi, and spirit were gradually recovering, and his damaged muscles, bones, meridians, and even his fleshly body were all recovering. Have you gone mad? You are actually still feeding him medicinal pills. Could it be that you don't know the situation we are in now? Lu Yenshue's cultivation base is rumored to have already reached the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. What cultivation speed is that? Her talent is outstanding and she is highly regarded in the Snowdrift Sage Hall. When she came to attend the birthday banquet, it would surely cause a huge commotion. At that time, experts from Lu Yenshue's faction would be as common as the clouds. Yet, you are still taking care of this young man. That's right, immediately capture him and hand him over to Mo Xiaoxiao. Don't forget about Chu Qingyi. Sounds of quarreling drifted over from outside. Although it was some distance away, Qin Wentian could still hear it. Qin Wentian's immortal sense extended out, and after that, he saw a group of young men from the Lu clan walking over to Lu Yao. All of them had cold expressions on their faces as they berated Lu Yao impolitely. When Qingyi was here, why didn't any of you stand out to speak up? Now that Qingyi has entrusted him to me, you guys actually dare to stand out. Lu Yao stared at the people of the same generation as her. She was so angered that her body trembled. She was truly provoked by the words of these people. Chu Qingyi is the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. We can't clash head-on with her. Now that she has left, maybe she doesn't even intend to care about this anymore. Yet, you guys are still stubbornly standing here. In addition, if we hand Qin Wentian over to Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Zhanfei, even if Chu Qingyi returns and learns of this, she wouldn't be able to say anything, right? A young woman coldly spoke. That's right, we can express goodwill to Mo Xiaoxiao. After all, in our Lu clan, Mo Xiaoxiao's authority is much greater compared to Chu Qingyi. Someone added. Don't forget what Qingyi said before she left. It's true that you guys want to curry favor with Mo Xiaoxiao, but if you really hand Qin Wentian over to Mo Xiaoxiao, Qingyi will definitely not rest until all of you are dead. You guys better consider the price carefully. Lu Yao's voice grew domineering, extremely cold, causing everyone to start as they hesitated. A young man had an unsightly expression on his face as he spoke. He's just a cripple, yet you still want to protect him? This might even cause our bloodline to be punished by the clan leader. Lu Yao, you truly don't know what's good for you. Lu Yao, in the future, if anything happens to our bloodline, you will be the sinner. A group of people flicked their sleeves and left. Lu Yao was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. She stared at the departing figures, feeling extremely unhappy. A bunch of snobbish people. Lu Yao angrily spoke. Since you already know, why are you still so angry? A voice drifted over. Lu Yao turned her head and saw Qin Wentian walking over. She involuntarily asked, Sir Qin, did you hear everything? Qin Wentian nodded lightly. Don't worry, these matters won't affect me. That's good. Sir Qin is still injured, please don't be angered or it might affect your recovery. Qingyi handed you over to me. Even if I can't help you fully recover, I definitely won't allow your injuries to worsen. Lu Yao smiled. Qin Wentian walked to the side of Lu Yao and smiled. Lu Yao, do you have any wishes? Why are you asking this? Lu Yao stared at Qin Wentian curiously. You gave me the great recovery pill and I've said that I will repay your kindness. Naturally, I'll keep my words. However, I don't know what you need. Hence, I'm asking if you have any wishes. Let's see if I can satisfy them. Qin Wentian smiled. Although he would be fine even if he didn't have the great recovery pill, he was someone who could clearly differentiate between gratitude and grudges. The two of them were strangers who met by chance, he naturally had to repay this favor. Lu Yao, on the other hand, started giggling, revealing a hint of simplicity and sunshine. What are you laughing at? Qin Wentian started. I'm laughing at your stupidity. You can't even protect yourself, yet you're still asking me what wishes I have. Could it be that you can help me fulfill them? Lu Yao rolled her eyes at Qin Wentian. Although she didn't believe him, she still gave off a comfortable feeling. I'm stupidity. Black lines appeared on Qin Wentian's forehead. It was very rare for someone to talk to him like this. Isn't that so? Lu Yao smiled mischievously when she saw the awkward expression on Qin Wentian's face. Naturally, my wish is actually very simple. I want to receive more attention from my clan and not be marginalized. However, my talent isn't considered to be at the peak in my clan. Hence, even though my wish is simple, it's actually very difficult. Powerful cultivation arts and innate techniques, alchemy techniques, as well as all sorts of magnificent divine weapons, I'm not fated to obtain them. More importantly, in the future, I won't be able to decide my own marriage. If my clan values me enough, maybe I'll have the right to make my own choice. Lu Yao gazed into the distance as she sighed ruefully. But very quickly, she retracted her gaze and stared at Qin Wentian. Why am I telling you all these? These are all empty words. Don't laugh at me. I won't. Qin Wentian shook his head. Maybe I can really help you fulfill your wishes. Forget it, I'm already satisfied if I can fulfill one or two of them. Lu Yao shook her head. Let's not think about these things for now. Let's get through this crisis first. This time around, during the birthday banquet, I'm afraid you won't have a good time. I wonder if Qingyi will be able to think of a solution. I'll be fine. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. I hope so. Young Master Qin, quickly recuperate. If you really can't do it, see if you can sneak out. Lu Yao spoke. Qin Wentian didn't say anything else and returned to his room to continue his recovery. His heavily injured body was gradually recovering. As time flowed by, the birthday banquet of City Lord Lu finally arrived. City Lord Lu's birthday banquet was held once every 100 years and the entire city was in an uproar. Today, the entire Cold Nether Immortal City was in an uproar. Experts from the various major powers arrived and sent their congratulations. There were also many powers who directly left after sending gifts. They didn't even have the qualifications to enter the City Lord Manor. Those who were truly invited to the City Lord Manor all had extraordinary statuses. Today, the vast City Lord Manor was extraordinarily bustling with activity. Only the Lu Yao Manor where Qin Wentian resided was exceptionally quiet. Clearly, the recent incident had affected the City Lord Manor, causing the status of Lu Yao's faction to change. Lu Yao sighed in her heart. Seems like her wish would never be fulfilled. The distance between them grew further and further. At this moment, Qin Wentian walked out of his residence and moved towards the exit of the manor. Halt! Someone blocked Qin Wentian's path as he coldly berated. Qin Wentian furrowed his brows. My freedom is being restricted? You only want to flee now. It's too late. Flee. Qin Wentian stared at the person blocking him. I don't have any grudges with the Lu clan. Does your Lu clan really intend to kill me? That would depend on the city lord's decision. In any case, before the matter regarding the Grand Recovery Pill is resolved, you are not allowed to take a single step out of here. A person coldly spoke. Qin Wentian smiled, very good. I'm just afraid that at that time, if I don't wish to leave, you guys would beg me to. After speaking, he directly turned and walked back only to see Lu Yao's silhouette flickering over. Her beautiful eyes were filled with anxiety. What's wrong? Qin Wentian asked. Lu Yanxue has arrived and she brought many experts from the Snowdrift Sage Hall with her, including those from the same generation as her. The old man personally went out to welcome them. Lu Yao spoke. She stared at the guards as she coldly spoke, Scram. Are you guys monitoring me? Miss Lu Yao, please forgive us. We are only following orders. One of them coldly laughed, staring at Qin Wentian and Lu Yao with a mocking gaze. There's no need to make things difficult for them. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Lu Yao's expression was filled with anxiety. At this moment, the sound of whistling wind drifted over from afar. Chu Qingyi has arrived. Lu Yao stared at her with anticipation in her eyes, only to see Chu Qingyi walking over. She stared at Qin Wentian, no matter what, I will protect you no matter what. When Lu Yao heard this, her heart sank unceasingly. Qin Wentian stared at Chu Qingyi's resolute gaze as a smile appeared on his face. Thank you, let's go to the banquet. Chu Qingyi started when she saw the smile on Qin Wentian's face. After that, she solemnly nodded her head, okay. For this trip to the Snowdrift Sage Hall, her elders told her not to interfere in the matters of the City Lord Manor. This was because Lu Yanxue's status in the Snowdrift Sage Hall was getting higher and higher. At this moment, at the location of the banquet, many experts had already gathered. Their gazes were all fixed in the same direction. City Lord Lu and the other major characters were personally welcoming the guests. Each and every one of them was extraordinary. They soared through the air and flew towards the banquet. Yanxue, you have returned. City Lord Lu happily spoke. I naturally came to congratulate father on his birthday. Lu Yanxue appeared to be over 30 years of age. She was extremely beautiful and exuded an extraordinary aura. She landed on the ground and waved her hands. Yanxue congratulates father on his birthday. Congratulations on City Lord Lu's birthday. Many disciples of the Snowdrift Sage Hall bowed in unison. City Lord Lu had a smile on his face as he spoke. Yanxue, please be seated. Okay. Lu Yanxue nodded lightly. Martial Ant. Mo Xiaoxiao stood up and called out to Lu Yanxue. Ant. Lu Zhanfei also called out. Lu Yanxue glanced over and nodded her head to the two of them. Her radiance shone brightly as she directly sat on the host's seat. Many experts stood up and clasped their hands in greeting. Chapter 1438. However, the most dazzling ones were none other than those from the Snowdrift Sage Hall. The Snowdrift Sage Hall was the controller of this city. Cultivators from the Snowdrift Sage Hall all had extraordinary statuses. This time, for City Lord Lu's birthday celebration, there were actually so many disciples from the Snowdrift Sage Hall who came to offer their congratulations. Only the City Lord Manor was able to do this. Everyone couldn't help but to sigh. Although the City Lord Manor was merely a vassal power of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, as generations passed, they had already integrated into the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Many of their disciples were cultivating in the Snowdrift Sage Hall, or perhaps they had connections with the Snowdrift Sage Hall. City Lord Lu's face was glowing with health, and he was in high spirits. He sat in the center of the main seat. Beside him sat his daughter, Lu Yanxue. As for his other children, their seats were slightly further away. Beside Lu Yanxue sat Lu Zhanfei's father. Below them, Lu Zhanfei and Mo Xiaoxiao were seated. These people belonged to the core bloodline of the Lu clan, controlling the authority of the Lu clan. Although Lu Yao was also a direct descendant, she had to refer to City Lord Lu as great-grandpa. He was the uncle of her father, Lu Zhan. In terms of relationship, Lu Yanxue was also Lu Yao's aunt. It was just that they weren't blood-related, hence, their relationship was naturally much more distant. This was especially so for Lu Yanxue's nephew, Lu Zhanfei, whose talent was extremely good. In addition, Lu Yanxue and Lu Yao's aunt both entered the Snowdrift Sage Hall. The two of them climbed up the ranks, regardless of whether they were in the clan or in the Snowdrift Sage Hall, they were always competitors. But after that, Lu Yanxue gradually surpassed them. Right now, their statuses were no longer the same as before. The Wu clan is here to offer our congratulations to City Lord Lu. A clear voice rang out. After that, a group of experts was led over. The person in the lead had a majestic aura and was clearly an Empyrean expert. This man was none other than the clan leader of the Wu clan, Wu Bufan. "Huh, old fellow, you actually came personally. Quickly, please take a seat." City Lord Lu stood up and laughed. The clan leader of the Wu clan actually came personally. As expected of City Lord Lu, his authority is truly great. Yeah, the Wu clan leader's cultivation base is extremely terrifying. It's said that he has already reached the peak of the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. In this city, other than the City Lord Manor, the Wu clan is the strongest. Everyone sighed in admiration. Also, there was a junior from the Wu clan who was extremely dazzling. He managed to enter the tutelage of an immortal emperor and was accepted as a personal disciple. Wu Tianjiao is here too. The gazes of the crowd turned to the young man beside the Wu clan leader, Wu Bufan. This person had a handsome countenance and a pair of eyes that were brimming with vigor. He was an extraordinary expert. His original name was Heaven's Chosen, and everyone had high hopes for him. He was indeed a true Heaven's Chosen. Immortal King Yan Shui is here too. I've long heard of Immortal King Yan Shui's great name. It's my pleasure to meet you today. Wu Bufan cupped his fists at Lu Yanxue. Even as the Wu family's family head, he was extremely courteous to Lu Yanxue. After all, Lu Yanxue's status was higher than him, the Wu family's family head. If she wasn't the daughter of City Lord Lu, the City Lord status would still be inferior to Lu Yanxue's. Wu Bufan was naturally aware of this. Lu Yanxue nodded lightly. She glanced at Wu Tianjiao as a bright light flashed in her eyes. It was like her interest in Wu Bufan was inferior compared to Wu Tianjiao. Wu Tianjiao has broken through to the Immortal King realm? Lu Yanxue asked. Senior's eyes are wise. Tianjiao is untalented but he has indeed broken through to the Immortal King realm. Wu Tianjiao bowed politely. Not bad, as expected of someone who can cultivate by the side of an immortal emperor. His future is boundless. Lu Yanxue praised. City Lord Lu also laughed. Noble nephew Tianjiao is truly extraordinary. Brother Wu, quickly come and have a seat. Wu Bufan nodded. He wasn't polite at all and walked towards the host's seat, sitting together with Wu Tianjiao. Today, he brought Wu Tianjiao here because he had a purpose. He hoped that he could form a connection with the Snowdrift Sage Hall just like the City Lord Manor. And the best way to form a connection was undoubtedly through marriage. City Lord Lu's birthday celebration was a good opportunity. Everyone, please feel free to take a seat. There's no need to be so polite. City Lord Lu waved his hands at the crowd. The banquet was already prepared and the various experts all presented their congratulatory gifts. Since they came here, they naturally had to show their sincerity and form a good relationship with the City Lord Manor. The atmosphere of the banquet was extremely lively. At this moment, Lu Yao and Qin Wentian also arrived. When they saw the lively atmosphere, they felt somewhat out of place. Father. Lu Yao glanced at Lu Zhan and the others who were seated below the host's seat. After that, she walked over. Take a seat. Lu Zhan spoke in a low voice. However, many of the youths from his faction coldly glanced at Lu Yao and Qin Wentian, clearly not welcoming them. Lu Yao's actions would cause them to feel awkward. They didn't dare to directly offend Chu Qingyi, hence, they could only vent their anger on Lu Yao and Qin Wentian, coldly staring at the two of them. Chu Qingyi, who was beside Qin Wentian, glanced in the direction of Lu Yanxue only to see Lu Yanxue shifting her gaze away in disdain. This caused Chu Qingyi's countenance to turn unsightly, but she didn't pay her respects. As for Mo Xiaoxiao, who was beside Lu Yanxue, she laughed. What's wrong, junior sister Qingyi? Are you not going to pay your respects to Uncle Master? Chu Qingyi's gaze froze. After that, she bowed to Lu Yanxue. Chu Qingyi pays her respects to Uncle Master. Lu Yanxue didn't even glance over, directly ignoring Chu Qingyi. This caused Chu Qingyi to feel extremely embarrassed while Mo Xiaoxiao giggled. Wu Bufan and Wu Tianjiao from the Wu clan stared at this scene with interest. Seems like the competition in the Snowdrift Sage Hall is extremely intense. Wu Tianjiao was more focused on the beauty of Chu Qingyi. Although Mo Xiaoxiao beside him was also extremely beautiful, but when Chu Qingyi entered the banquet, the most beautiful person in the crowd was none other than her. Take a seat, Chu Qingyi spoke to Qin Wentian, who was beside her when she saw Lu Yanxue ignoring her. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. Just when he wanted to sit down, a cold voice rang out, "Who allowed you to sit?" Qin Wentian's countenance stiffened. He then saw a middle-aged man not far away staring at him with a cold expression. You came to my Lu clan and consumed the grand recovery pill of our Lu clan. Lu Yao served you very well and now, you actually want to sit down at the banquet? Seems like you are too complacent and think that everything is natural. Uncle. Lu Yao's countenance stiffened as she stared at the person who spoke. What's wrong, Lu Yao? Did I say something wrong? How precious is the grand recovery pill? You actually gave it away just like that. Even if the clan lord doesn't punish you, we will still punish you. That middle-aged man coldly spoke, as though he was already prepared to show his attitude towards the clan lord and Lu Yanxue. I've already said it before. I was the one who asked Lu Yao for the grand recovery pill. Also, I will definitely repay this favor. Chu Qingyi coldly stared at the person who spoke, not polite at all. Holy Maiden Qingyi, there's no need to push the blame onto yourself. That person calmly spoke. He didn't dare to offend Chu Qingyi too much, but he also needed to give Lu Yanxue and the others an explanation. Qin Wentian stood there and calmly stared at that person. Ever since I consumed the grand recovery pill, I can't even step out of the Lu clan's main gate. Now, I'm not even allowed to sit at the banquet. What sort of person do you all think I, Qin, am? Humph, how would you know how precious the grand recovery pill is? That middle-aged man coldly snorted. So what about it? Do you want me to use my life to pay for it? Qin Wentian counter-asked. How can your lowly life be compared to the grand recovery pill? Everything will be decided by the clan lord. The middle-aged man clasped his hands to City Lord Lu, indicating his attitude. No matter what the clan lord said, he would obey. He wouldn't care about the fact that Lu Yao was someone from his bloodline. Qingyi is the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Yanxue, what do you think of this? City Lord Lu stared at Lu Yanxue as he asked. Lu Yanxue's beautiful eyes slowly turned over before landing on Chu Qingyi, Lu Yao, and Qin Wentian. She calmly glanced at them before her eyes landed on Chu Qingyi. There was no expression in her eyes, and it was impossible to tell if she was happy or angry. She only spoke in an extremely calm voice. I heard from Xiao Xiao that someone barged into the cold nether immortal lake of my Snowdrift Sage Hall and was injured by her. Initially, she wanted to kill him, but he was saved by you. You even brought him to my clan and asked Lu Yao to give him a grand recovery pill. Replying to martial ant, he barged into the cold nether immortal lake unintentionally and wasn't injured by Mo Xiao Xiao. He was already heavily injured. Chu Qingyi spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. In that case, there's no mistake. Chu Qingyi, as a holy maiden, do you know that the reputation of the holy maiden cannot be sullied? No matter how he barged into the cold nether immortal lake, you didn't kill him and even asked for a grand recovery pill. Do you think you're wrong? Lu Yanxue's voice was as calm as ever. That's right. Chu Qingyi stubbornly spoke. He's my friend, I naturally have to save him. Friend? Mo Xiao Xiao coldly laughed. He's your lover, right? He was seen by someone but you didn't kill him and even saved him. Friend? Mo Xiao Xiao. Chu Qingyi coldly stared at her. Are you angry because of my words? Or do you dare to say that you don't like him? Mo Xiao Xiao coldly laughed. So what if I like him? When we return to the Snowdrift Sage Hall, I will bear all responsibility. The grand recovery pill was borrowed by me, I will naturally return it. This has nothing to do with the Sage Hall, nor does it have anything to do with him. Chu Qingyi was extremely unyielding, wanting to protect Qin Wentian. As expected. Mo Xiao Xiao laughed. This time around, she wanted Chu Qingyi's reputation to fall through the floor. She wanted her to offend Lu Yanxue and ruin her future. Qingyi, I've once expressed my feelings for you, but who would have thought that you would actually reject me for the sake of a lecherous cripple? You've committed a grave mistake. Lu Zhanfei stared at Chu Qingyi as he spoke. But even so, I don't mind. If you're willing to turn over a new leaf and accept me, I'm willing to plead for mercy for my aunt. I believe the Sage Hall wouldn't blame me for that. Chu Qingyi glanced at Lu Zhanfei as a look of disgust flashed in her eyes. Disgusting. Impudent. Lu Yanxue berated, her gaze turning cold. Holy Maiden Qingyi's beauty surpasses others, why must you destroy your own future for a cripple? Is it worth it? At this moment, Wu Tianjiao from the Wu clan also spoke, sighing. He had already understood the situation and felt that it wasn't worth it for Chu Qingyi. Such a beautiful holy maiden, if he could have her, it would truly be a good thing. Wu Bufan's eyes flashed. He glanced at his son and laughed, indeed, holy maiden Qingyi has to think thrice before acting. Chapter 1439. Chu Qingyi stared at the father and son of the Wu clan as she coldly spoke, what does this have to do with you guys? I, Wu, have always admired the fairies of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Now that I'm able to see Miss Chu's beauty, my heart is stirred. I can't bear to see Miss Chu fall into depravity and walk down the wrong path. Wu Tianjiao spoke in a dignified manner, using his status as an immortal king to say these words. Not only that, he praised the Snowdrift Sage Hall and even faintly revealed his admiration for Chu Qingyi. This caused Lu Yanxue to glance at him, instantly understanding Wu Tianjiao's intentions. Seems like the Wu clan came here to express their goodwill and also wanted to form a marriage alliance with the Snowdrift Sage Hall. However, if they could marry Chu Qingyi into the Wu clan, it wouldn't be too bad. Chu Qingyi's talent was already extremely outstanding. After she came out from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, her cultivation speed was godly and she was already on the verge of breaking through to the Immortal King realm. If it wasn't for the fact that she also entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy and broke through to the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm, suppressing Chu Qingyi's radiance, she would have attracted even more attention from the upper echelons of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. This time around, Mo Xiaoxiao wanted to use this opportunity to ruthlessly strike down Chu Qingyi. This wasn't a bad idea, suppressing Chu Qingyi's radiance. It would be even better if she could damage Chu Qingyi's conviction. Qingyi, Wu Tianjiao is the personal disciple of the martial emperor. His talent is outstanding and has already broken through to the Immortal King realm. Lu Yanxue calmly spoke. After that, she turned to Wu Tianjiao and asked, "Noble nephew Tianjiao, do you have feelings for Qingyi? If this is the case, I can ask Qingyi for her opinion. In that case, I will have to thank Senior." Wu Tianjiao smiled as he replied, his words causing the eyes of everyone to flash. Seems like the Wu clan came here with a purpose. They wanted to form a marriage alliance with the Snowdrift Sage Hall, and this Wu Tianjiao had his eyes on Chu Qingyi. That's right, among the females here, Chu Qingyi's beauty was the most outstanding. There was no need to mention the talent of the disciples of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. "Qingyi, I'll give you another chance. Zhanfei and Wu Tianjiao are both interested in you. If you're willing, I'll help you tell your master that you have no interest in that lecture. I'll let you personally kill him to clear your name. As for the Grand Cyclic Pill, forget about it," said Lu Yanxue. "Dream on." Chu Qingyi said coldly, "You're my uncle master, and I respect you. However, I didn't do anything wrong. I merely borrowed a recover pill, and you want me to kill my friend? Stubborn." Lu Yanxue coldly snorted. She turned her gaze away, no longer looking at Chu Qingyi, as though she had already given her a chance. Qin Wentian listened quietly. He was somewhat taken aback. Lu Yanxue and Chu Qingyi were both disciples of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Even if they weren't from the same faction, their relationship shouldn't be so bad. Seems like the competition within the Snowdrift Sage Hall was extremely intense. Lu Yanxue clearly wanted to use this opportunity to suppress Chu Qingyi. And he, Qin Wentian, had provided them with an opportunity to suppress Chu Qingyi. "Are you all treating me as thin air?" At this moment, Qin Wentian spoke. He stared at the experts before him. "MHM." The gazes of everyone turned over, landing on Qin Wentian. This person actually dared to speak. Lu Yanxue merely glanced at Qin Wentian and no longer looked at him. Lu Zhanfei mockingly stared at Qin Wentian as he laughed. As for Mo Xiaoxiao, she even laughed out loud. This was truly interesting. Is it very funny? Qin Wentian stared at Mo Xiaoxiao. These people were discussing how to resolve this matter, wanting Chu Qingyi to kill him to prove her innocence. It was as though he, Qin Wentian, was just an insignificant existence that they could kill whenever they wanted. There was no need for them to question his existence, treating him as though he didn't exist. A lecher who invaded the Coldnether Immortal Lake and was almost killed by me. You relied on a recover pill to prolong your life, yet you actually want to make others pay attention to your existence. Isn't this funny? A smile hung on Mo Xiaoxiao's face. I initially thought you would hide behind junior sister Qingyi and shut your mouth. I didn't expect you to jump out to speak. You guys were discussing how to kill me, but you actually didn't expect me to speak. Qin Wentian sighed. The life of a human was like grass. If it was someone else, in front of these major powers, the life of an ordinary person wouldn't even be worth a mention. These people were used to being high up in the air, peering down at the masses. How would they care about the life and death of an ordinary person? Sir Qin, you don't have to interfere in this matter. Lu Yao tugged on Qin Wentian's sleeves, feeling somewhat nervous. Qin Wentian's actions would only make things more and more chaotic. At that time, even if Chu Qingyi did her best, she wouldn't be able to protect him. Lu Yao, how dare you? Lu Yao's elder berated. This person's life was originally given by you, yet he still dares to spout such arrogant words. Seems like he's tired of living. Is that so? Qin Wentian suddenly laughed. Although his injuries have yet to fully recover, it wouldn't affect his combat prowess. A mere city lord actually dared to disregard his existence. Since you guys feel that I'm tired of living, I'm tired of living then. Qin Wentian laughed. However, who wants to take my life? Qin Wentian. Chu Qingyi's gaze froze. She transmitted her voiceover. Lu Yenshue's cultivation base is very high, she's at the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. City Lord Lu is even more powerful. Don't try to show off now, leave this to me. A look of worry appeared on her face. Qin Wentian's personality was still the same as when he was in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Tyrannical and unbridled, no one could make him retreat. The people from the Lu clan very quickly infuriated him. Qingyi, you are so protective of him yet he wants to seek death. He basically doesn't appreciate your kindness at all. Such a trash yet you are treating him like this? Could it be that you are truly blind? Lu Zhanfei saw that Chu Qingyi and Lu Yao were both looking at Qin Wentian with worry, as though they were transmitting their voiceover to persuade him. He shook his head. His talent was extraordinary and he was also a heaven chosen of the Lu clan. He was interested in Chu Qingyi yet she had always ignored him. However, such a person before him was actually treated so seriously by Chu Qingyi. This caused Lu Zhanfei to feel extremely embarrassed. Chu Qingyi. At this moment, Qin Wentian suddenly spoke. His expression was calm and solemn. Chu Qingyi suddenly felt that Qin Wentian seemed to have changed into a different person in this instant. He was no longer as amiable and approachable as before. Him right now was extremely sharp, arrogant and unapproachable. He was Qin Wentian from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Inclining her head slightly, Chu Qingyi stared at Qin Wentian whose aura had changed. She actually felt a sense of reverence in her heart, as though he was the only existence in this world. I've already said it before. I no longer hold the matters of the past against you. This time around, I was heavily injured and fell into the cold nether lake. It was you who brought me here to recuperate. Although I would still be fine even without the grand recovery pill, I still have to thank you for everything you have done for me. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. He then continued, however, a true man can clearly distinguish between gratitude and grudges. You are you, but today, the people of the Snowdrift Sage Hall humiliated me multiple times. This is unforgivable. I won't show mercy because of you, I hope you can understand. Chu Qingyi's body trembled when she heard Qin Wentian's words. At this instant, she could feel the imposing aura of a monarch descending upon the world. A true man can clearly distinguish between gratitude and grudges. The words spoken by Qin Wentian were like golden words and jade rules, he would definitely do what he said. Chu Qingyi was stunned. She didn't understand where Qin Wentian's confidence came from. However, she could truly sense the pride radiating from him. He was Qin Wentian who fought against the 9 emperors Immortal States Huang Shatian with a cultivation base at the 7th level of Immortal Foundation in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian who ate white tigers as food. No matter where he went, he would always be so dazzling, exuding boundless magnificence. No one would be able to make him give in and take a step back. Those who humiliated him would definitely regret it. Lu Yao was also intimidated by Qin Wentian's aura. She suddenly thought of the words Qin Wentian had said to her before. He asked her what wish she had and he said that he might help her fulfill it. Did Qin Wentian really have such an ability? That heavily injured patient whom she had been treating with medicinal pills, suddenly became different at this moment. Has this fellow gone mad? Mo Xiaoxiao was stunned for a moment before she suddenly spoke. She stared at Qin Wentian and could faintly sense an extraordinary aura from him. However, he actually dared to say such shocking words, saying that he wouldn't spare the people of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Not only for Emo Xiao, the other guests who came to attend the banquet were all staring at Qin Wentian as though they were looking at a madman. Was this person stimulated by something? Earlier, he said that Qin Wentian was tired of living and sent people to kill him. Now, he even said that he wouldn't spare the experts of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. I was heavily injured and was forced to consume a grand recovery pill. I have no grudges or grievances with you guys, yet you guys are actually discussing my life and death here. How ridiculous. Qin Wentian stepped out, moving towards the empty space ahead. His gaze turned to Lu Zhanfei and Mo Xiao. Even people like you guys dare to insult me? Since this is the case, the trash you guys are talking about is standing here. Who will come and kill me? Courting death. Lu Zhanfei stood up. His demeanor was extraordinary as he floated up. He stared at Qin Wentian before glancing at Chu Qingyi. Since his injuries have already recovered, Chu Qingyi, let me prove to you how bad your judgment is. Law energy gushed forth as Lu Zhanfei slashed out with his sword. His speed was as fast as lightning, the law energy of ice and snow covered the sky, burying Qin Wentian's body. That sword was like a bolt of lightning, piercing towards Qin Wentian's body. What a fast sword! As expected of a genius of the Lu clan. Everyone silently mused. The whistling sound of the sword was extremely ear-piercing, transforming into a sonic boom. Careful! Chu Qingyi and Lu Yao both exclaimed in shock. However, Qin Wentian didn't seem to have any intentions of moving at all. He quietly stood there, allowing that terrifyingly sharp sword to envelop him, piercing towards his heart. Chu Qingyi and Lu Yao both turned pale with fright. However, at this very moment, the space around them seemed to have frozen. Lu Zhanfei's sword pierced into Qin Wentian's body, yet it couldn't penetrate through it all. That whistling sword chi actually didn't harm Qin Wentian in the slightest. You are wearing a defensive armor. Lu Zhanfei's countenance changed. Qin Wentian stared at Lu Zhanfei with pity in his eyes. He stretched out his hands and grabbed hold of Lu Zhanfei's sword. Instantly, Lu Zhanfei's sword shattered into pieces, transforming into nothingness. Staring at those cold eyes, Lu Zhanfei's countenance changed as his heart pounded madly. Retreat! Lu Yanxue shouted. However, it was already too late. Qin Wentian's jade-white palm stretched out, directly grabbing onto Lu Zhanfei's throat. His cold eyes stared at Lu Zhanfei as he spoke with pity, is it Chu Qingyi who is blind, or are you blind? Release him. Zhanfei. Many experts from the Lu clan shouted as they stood up. Lu Yanxue also stood up as she icily spoke, if you think that you can use Lu Zhanfei as a hostage to leave this place, I'm afraid it's impossible. Release him and I'll give you a quick death. Even at this moment, you are still thinking of ways to negotiate? Qin Wentian laughed. This Lu Yanxue most probably thought that he would use Lu Zhanfei's life to force these people to let him leave. Hence, she spoke first to intentionally give him pressure. That's right, for someone as arrogant as you, it's no wonder. Qin Wentian indifferently laughed. You have no idea who I am, what sort of person I am. If I want to leave, do I need his help? Qin Wentian laughed as a terrifying sword might manifested in his palms. In just an instant, Lu Zhanfei let out an incomparably terrified scream. After which, the sword intent from Qin Wentian ravaged his body, shattering it into nothingness. Boom, boom, boom. An extremely tyrannical killing intent gushed forth, enveloping Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian stood there arrogantly, calmly feeling everything as he spoke in an incomparably arrogant voice. Before this, you all wanted to stop me from leaving. But now, I want you all to beg me to leave. Chapter 1440. As Qin Wentian spoke, a powerful aura gushed forth from him. At this moment, he was like an unexcelled character, standing there as though he was the only existence in this world. Before this, the City Lord Manor didn't allow him to leave. But now, he wanted the City Lord Manor to beg him to leave. How arrogant was this? However, Qin Wentian spoke in such a natural manner, as though his words could sever iron. He was heavily injured and was sent to the City Lord Manor to recuperate after consuming a grand recovery pill. This originally wasn't a big deal, but because of the internal strife of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, they actually used him to suppress Chu Qingyi, calling him trash and wanting his life, as though he could be killed by anyone. How arrogant, how much contempt did they have for his existence? Since this was the case, he would let the City Lord Manor know what sort of existence he was. At this moment, the people of the City Lord Manor didn't care about what sort of existence Qin Wentian was. They were more concerned about Qin Wentian's killing of Lu Zhanfei. They only cared about Lu Zhanfei's death. Numerous figures stood up, their anger blazing. Zhanfei. A middle-aged man screamed miserably. Lu Zhanfei was his son, yet he was killed just like that. His talent was extraordinary and he would surely become an immortal king in the future, having great accomplishments. But now, he died just like that. A moment ago, he was still in high spirits, but in the next instant, not even his bones remained. His eyes widened as his killing intent towered up into the sky. Immortal King Realm. Lu Yenshue's voice was ice cold. Although Qin Wentian didn't release his full aura, she could already sense that this was the aura of an immortal king. The person Chu Qingyi liked was a young man at the Immortal King realm. Mo Xiao, who was at the side, stiffened. She had always thought that Qin Wentian was spying on them and was injured by her. Hence, she had never looked at Qin Wentian in the eye. But when Qin Wentian killed Lu Zhanfei, only then did she realize that the things she thought to be natural weren't so. Capture him. The city lord of the Lu clan coldly spoke. His palm slammed onto the table, instantly shattering it. His imposing eyes were filled with killing intent. Yes. Many silhouettes stepped out, emitting terrifying auras. Many of the experts who came to attend the birthday celebration were shocked. They didn't expect that during the birthday celebration of City Lord Lu, someone would actually kill the grandson of the City Lord. This was simply audacious. Just a moment ago, they had thought that Qin Wentian would take Lu Zhanfei hostage to negotiate terms. The next moment, Lu Zhanfei was killed so decisively. Kill! Said Qin Wentian coldly as he stared at the many silhouettes walking towards him. In just an instant, the destructive sword might swept through the air. In just an instant, the sounds of swords being slashed rang out incessantly. One silhouette after another was slain. However, Qin Wentian still stood there, not moving at all. He showed no mercy. He directly started a massacre at the birthday banquet. Bang! City Lord Lu stomped his foot on the ground, causing the ground to crumble. His anger was uncontrollable. There was actually someone who dared to act so atrociously, disregarding everything, directly slaughtering people in his manor and at his birthday banquet. This is an opportunity. Wu Bufan transmitted his voice to his son, Wu Tianjiao. Wu Tianjiao's eyes flashed as he nodded his head lightly. This was an opportunity to form a good relationship with the Snowdrift Sage Hall. With an intention of his will, a violent law domain manifested before Qin Wentian. That tempest was extremely terrifying, instantly causing many experts to retreat. With Qin Wentian at the center, golden spears manifested in the tempest, piercing through everything. Just the light from the spears caused the ground around Qin Wentian to rumble as the ground around him crumbled. Qin Wentian had to protect himself with a light barrier. As long as Wu Tianjiao gave the command, the entire space around him would be destroyed by the golden spears. Wu Tianjiao, Immortal King. When an immortal king acts, he truly is extraordinary. Everyone sighed in their hearts. How powerful was Qin Wentian? To compress all the energy of an immortal king into the space Qin Wentian was standing in, how fearsome was this power? Just the aftershock from the explosion was sufficient to destroy the earth, causing terrifying fissures to appear. Wu Tianjiao stepped out, appearing in the air. He was like an unexcelled divinity as he calmly spoke, "Everyone, please step back." As the sound of his voice faded, everyone retreated, opening up the battlefield for Wu Tianjiao. A battle between immortal kings would definitely cause great shockwaves. Wu Tianjiao's attacks were extraordinary. A golden spear could be seen behind his back, shining with resplendent light. It was as though he was the ruler of countless spears. Wu Tianjiao is as expected of a supreme genius, becoming a personal disciple of an immortal emperor. Truly unparalleled. Someone sighed in admiration. Seems like there's an 80% chance that Wu Tianjiao's wish of forming a marriage alliance with the Snowdrift Sage Hall will come true. He is using this opportunity to establish his might and show goodwill to the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Everyone mused. Kill. As the sound of Chu Tianjiao's voice faded, he waved his palms as numerous golden spears filled with destructive might shot forth with lightning speed, directly blasting into Qin Wentian. Their speed was so fast that Qin Wentian didn't even have time to dodge. The golden spears directly pierced through everything, aiming for Qin Wentian's body. No. Chu Qingyi's eyes turned red. This destructive might was too terrifying. This was an attack from an immortal king. Qin Wentian had just left the Tiandao Sacred Academy not long ago. Even if he had broken through to the immortal king realm and had unparalleled talent, it was impossible for him to block such an attack with his body alone. He would die without a doubt. Lu Yao clenched her fists tightly, her entire body was instantly drenched in sweat. Even her breathing was stagnant as she stared fixedly ahead. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Terrifying sounds of collision rang out. The golden spears radiated such light that the spectators couldn't even open their eyes. All of them pierced into Qin Wentian's body. However, under the shocked gazes of the spectators, in the center of the golden spears, a figure stood there with his hands clasped behind his back. He allowed the terrifying attacks to land on him, yet he remained unmoved. How is this possible? Great waves of shock rose in the hearts of the spectators. Qin Wentian didn't even blink. He quietly stood there as resplendent light circulated around him, unexcelled in the world. All the attacks that landed on him were all blocked. Wu Tianjiao's countenance was similarly unsightly to behold. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Seems like you guys still don't understand. Qin Wentian's emotionless voice rang out. He stared at Wu Tianjiao in the air with contempt in his eyes. You want to form a marriage alliance with the Snowdrift Sage Hall, wanting to curry favor with them isn't wrong. However, you shouldn't have used me as a stepping stone, wanting to use my life to curry favor with others. This is the most foolish decision you've ever made in your life. You only want to curry favor with the Snowdrift Sage Hall, but have you ever thought that I'm not someone a lowly existence like you can humiliate? As the sound of his voice faded, he stretched out his hand as a terrifying palm imprint appeared in the air. Wu Tianjiao roared, his golden spear pierced out, but it was directly shattered by the palm imprint. That terrifying palm imprint landed on Wu Tianjiao's body, and in just an instant, that terrifying palm imprint actually killed Wu Tianjiao, who was standing in the air, on the spot. Tianjiao! Wu Bufan roared in grief and anger. He soared into the air and just when he wanted to do something, he saw that palm imprint slamming into him. He only had enough time to catch a cold corpse as everything in his body was destroyed, including his vitality. And at this moment, Qin Wentian soared into the air as his immortal king might gushed forth. The might of a mid-stage immortal king instantly enveloped the entire city lord manor. Everyone inclined their heads in shock as they stared at the young man in the air. He was actually so powerful. Not long ago, everyone thought that Wu Tianjiao was an unexcelled character, yet he was actually killed with a single palm strike. Mid-stage Immortal King. Lu Yanxue inclined her head and stared at the sky. Her robes fluttered in the wind as a powerful aura gushed forth. Qin Wentian was actually a mid-stage Immortal King. Mo Xiao, who was beside her, turned pale. A mid-stage Immortal King. The person she called trash, the person she killed with a single palm strike, was actually a mid-stage Immortal King. How ironic was this? What a slap to the face. She only felt her face burning up. No wonder Chu Qingyi rejected so many people but only showed such feelings towards him. So it turned out that this young man before her was actually so extraordinary, so outstanding. She didn't know that right now, Chu Qingyi was also in a state of shock. Although she knew that Qin Wentian's talent was at the peak and knew that he would surely have unparalleled accomplishments in the future, she didn't expect him to be able to break through to the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm so quickly in such a short period of time. This was simply an opportunity. Lu Yao also felt that she was in a dream. As for Lu Zhan and the others from Lu Yao's faction, never in their wildest dreams would they have imagined that the person they mocked and ridiculed was actually a mid-stage Immortal King. If they knew this, let alone a single grand recovery pill, so what even if it was two? To be able to save a mid-stage Immortal King, how could a few pills compare to such a favor? But now, it was no longer a favor, it was a grudge. A single pill is actually treated as a plaything, killing me whenever you want to. My, Qin's life is actually inferior to a single pill. Qin Wentian laughed. He glanced at the surroundings only to see Lu Yanxue slowly soaring up into the air as a cold intent gushed forth from her, terrifying to the extreme. Wu Bufan also soared up into the air. Golden light radiated from him as his killing intent permeated the air. Do you know who the person you killed earlier is? Wu Bufan coldly spoke. He is the personal disciple of an Empyrean emperor. Even if you are a mid-stage Immortal King, even if you come from an extraordinary power, you actually dared to kill so impudently in front of me, humiliating my Snowdrift Sage Hall. Today, you still deserve death. Lu Yanxue coldly spoke, directly bringing out the name of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, preparing to kill Qin Wentian. Because, she realized that she had offended an extraordinary character. This young man before her might very well be from an extraordinary power and she was the one who humiliated him first. Hence, she brought out the name of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, saying that it was Qin Wentian who humiliated the Snowdrift Sage Hall. How could Qin Wentian not understand her thoughts? But she didn't understand that Qin Wentian basically didn't care if she was someone from the Snowdrift Sage Hall or not. Naturally, he wouldn't care that the person he killed earlier was a personal disciple of an Empyrean emperor. For those who wanted his life, there was no need for him to show mercy. Regretfully, even at this moment, you guys still don't understand. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, a swishing sound rang out. His body was like a great rock, exuding extreme speed. Wu Bufan's countenance instantly changed. He wanted to retreat but it was too late. Qin Wentian blasted out with a palm strike, directly shattering the golden light screen Wu Bufan created. With a thunderous boom, an incomparably powerful palm imprint latched onto Wu Bufan's body. Personal disciple of an immortal emperor. I can't even remember how many I've killed before. So what if you are the son of an immortal emperor? Qin Wentian mockingly laughed. Since you guys still don't understand, let me make you understand what sort of person I am. As the sound of his voice faded, he blasted out with his palm. With a thunderous boom, Wu Bufan's body was directly shattered into pieces. A powerful immortal king had a look of despair on his face. His eyes were filled with despair. So what if you are the son of an immortal emperor? What sort of existence is this man exactly? At this moment, they finally realized how terrifying the young man standing in the void was. Chapter 1441. Wu Bufan died. Wu Bufan and Wu Tianjiao initially wanted to use Qin Wentian as a stepping stone, stepping on Qin Wentian to climb up to the experts of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. They stood out to kill Qin Wentian to get closer to the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Sadly, this was the last decision they made in their lives. It was the most foolish decision they made, and it directly cost their lives. Using Qin Wentian's life to curry favor with the experts of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. How many people here could be comparable to Qin Wentian? Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Supreme Sword School, 9 Emperors Immortal State, White Tiger People, Dongxing Heaven Emperor, Zidi and so many other terrifying characters wanted Qin Wentian's life. For the sake of killing him, Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't hesitate to enter the tutelage of old devil Duo Tian. There were so many people who wanted his life. What was laughable was that Wu Bufan and his son wanted to use Qin Wentian's life to exchange for a favorable impression from the Snowdrift Sage Hall. One strike. The hearts of everyone started pounding madly, as waves of shock rose in their hearts. Staring at the magnificent silhouette floating in the air, if they still didn't understand that the Snowdrift Sage Hall and City Lord Manor had offended an extraordinary character, how foolish would they be? The City Lord Manor is truly a joke this time around. There's also the Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Mo Xiaoxiao. Everyone mused silently. Mo Xiaoxiao said that this man was a lecher and was heavily injured by her with a single strike. He only survived because of the Grand Recovery Pill. Hence, they wanted to use this opportunity to attack the other Holy Maiden and occasionally discussed about Qin Wentian's life and death. It was as though the young man standing before Chu Qingyi was insignificant and not worth a mention. No one asked for his opinion, no one cared about his thoughts, and no one even thought about what sort of character he was. Hence, a shocking scene occurred. That most inconspicuous existence that no one cared about was able to insta-kill an immortal king and a personal disciple of an immortal emperor. So what if they were the descendants of immortal emperors? When facing the Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Lu Yanxue, who was borrowing the might of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, his expression didn't fluctuate at all. It was like he basically didn't care about the Snowdrift Sage Hall standing behind Lu Yanxue. Right now, Chu Qingyi was so shocked that she couldn't speak. Her beautiful body trembled, she simply didn't dare to believe that what she saw was real. That figure standing proudly in the air was somewhat similar to the time when she was at the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The same magnificence, the same unparalleled aura. But the him now was even more tyrannical and domineering. Naturally, his strength was even more terrifying. Qin Yi, young Master Qin, he. Lu Yao's voice was slightly trembling. She simply didn't dare believe her eyes. Was that peerless figure that floated in the sky really that young man that was quietly recuperating, modest, and warm, and would talk cheerfully and wittily with her? Was she really not seeing things? All of this felt like a dream. His name is Qin Wentian, a disciple of the immortal Qianbian Gate in the eastern regions. It's rumored that he's the personal disciple of the Emperor Qianbian. He's also the lover of the most doted daughter of the ruler of the Evergreen Kingdom, Chongqing the Great. He once entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy and I was there as well. He defeated Leba, killed the geniuses of the Supreme Sword School, killed the experts of the peak-tier demon race, the White Tiger People, and ate white tiger meat as food. When he was at the 7th level of Immortal Foundation, he fought against the peak-tier Immortal Foundation genius of the 9 Emperors Immortal State, Wang Shatian. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, his magnificence was unparalleled. Chu Qingyi's voice was solemn as she slowly continued, what he said is right. It's unknown how many of the so-called disciples of immortal emperors in the Tiandao Sacred Academy died under his palms. Chu Qingyi knew that given how great the commotion was, the Snowdrift Sage Hall would definitely investigate Qin Wentian's identity. Hence, there was no harm in saying it out loud. At least, the Snowdrift Sage Hall would feel some trepidation. Those who heard this felt their hearts trembling. Glorious battle achievements, unparalleled arrogance. Such a character was actually treated in such a manner by the Lu clan. The people of the Lu clan were truly blind. They actually caused such a commotion over a mere grand recovery pill and even wanted his life. How ridiculous. Such a character was only worth a single grand recovery pill. The people from Lu Yao's faction no longer knew what emotions they were feeling. Not long ago, they were still mocking Qin Wentian. How many years has it been since the Tiandao Sacred Academy was established? He entered the academy together with you. In such a short period of time, he actually stepped into the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. Chu Qingyi, are you joking? Mo Xiaoxiao's heart trembled when she heard Chu Qingyi's words. However, she still didn't believe it. How could this be true? A person who entered the academy together with Chu Qingyi, how could he break through to the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm in such a short period of time? Nobody would be able to do this. Chu Qingyi's eyes flashed. She stared at Mo Xiaoxiao as she coldly spoke, in this world, there are some people who are destined to be extraordinary. They would cause ordinary people to sigh in admiration, causing geniuses to look up to them. They would leave everyone else in the dust, leaving all their peers in the dust, forever walking at the forefront. These people are all legends in history, and many of them are known as ancient emperors. Rumble. Mo Xiaoxiao's heart pounded violently. She stared at Qin Wentian in shock. I don't believe it. The establishment of the Tiandao Sacred Academy was indeed a symbol of the arrival of the era of ancient emperors. Chu Qingyi's words were undoubtedly hinting that Qin Wentian might be the person destined to enter the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Hence, she felt as though she was struck by lightning as her body trembled. The hearts of everyone present trembled violently. They didn't expect Chu Qingyi to have such a high evaluation of this man. She believed that this man was the future ancient emperor, the legendary existence prophesied by the Tiandao Sacred Academy. You were heavily injured and fell into the cold nether lake. You were heavily injured and fell into the cold nether immortal lake. You directly attacked me again, knocking me unconscious. If this matter is just a misunderstanding, I can ignore it. But after that, you bullied and humiliated me multiple times. In order to fight against Chu Qingyi, you even implicated me, wanting my life, damaging Chu Qingyi's Dao heart. Although you are the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, you actually humiliated me like this. Qin Wentian roared at Mo Xiaoxiao, only to see Mo Xiaoxiao's entire body trembling violently. She was actually forced to retreat a few steps due to the impact of his roar. Before this, she was incomparably arrogant in front of Qin Wentian. But now, she understood that in front of Qin Wentian, she had no qualifications at all. She was an Immortal Foundation character while he was a mid-stage Immortal King. Qin Wentian's talent was unrivaled, she couldn't even be compared to Chu Qingyi. How could she be compared to Qin Wentian? Regardless of strength, status, or identity, she was inferior to Qin Wentian. However, she still dared to humiliate him, wanting to kill Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian asked her if she deserved death. Lu Yenshue's countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. At this moment, she understood that even with her status, she wouldn't be able to intimidate Qin Wentian. In addition, there seemed to be two Empyrean powers supporting him from behind. His status in these two powers was even higher compared to her in the Snowdrift Sage Hall. At this moment, it was hard for Lu Yenshue to dismount. She stared at Qin Wentian. Since you have an extraordinary status, why don't we sit down and discuss this matter? Are you joking? Qin Wentian glanced at Lu Yenshue as he coldly spoke, what's there to discuss? Even if you are an extraordinary character, this place is the territory of my Snowdrift Sacred Hall, my Lu clan. If you act stubbornly, you won't be able to gain any benefits. Lu Yenshue stared at the air, staring at Qin Wentian. Her cold underworld aura gushed forth like a tempest, threatening Qin Wentian. Chu Qingyi, I initially wanted to give some face to your Snowdrift Sacred Hall and didn't want to make an enemy out of you. However, this man still has such an attitude. In that case, report back to your Snowdrift Sacred Hall that I have killed these two. If your Snowdrift Sacred Hall wants revenge, I, Qin Wentian, will accept it. If your Snowdrift Sacred Hall doesn't mind, I, Qin Wentian, will treat today's matter as though nothing has happened. As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, a third eye appeared in the center of his brows. In an instant, the evil god law domain manifested, directly enveloping Lu Yenxue and Mo Xiaoxiao. The cold underworld energy radiating from Lu Yenxue could freeze everything. However, Mo Xiaoxiao wasn't so lucky. When the law domain manifested, the entire space here was destroyed. She was merely at the Immortal Foundation realm, how could she defend against it? Impudent. Lu Yenxue blocked before Mo Xiaoxiao. If I want to kill someone, can you block me? As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, the terrifying evil god law domain manifested, wanting to destroy everything. In an instant, Mo Xiaoxiao screamed in agony as she fell into the vortex of destruction. Boom! At this moment, City Lord Lu stepped out, radiating a fearsome aura. The aura of a peak-stage immortal king erupted forth. Do you want me to massacre the entire City Lord Manor? Qin Wentian glanced over. He stared at City Lord Lu and stepped out as his divine elephant law domain manifested. Thunderous rumbling sounds shook the heavens and earth, wanting to crush everything. At this moment, City Lord Lu actually hesitated. As a peak-stage immortal king, he actually felt a sense of terror in front of this man before him. This man was too terrifying. His aura, his gaze, it felt like no one would be able to block him. If he acted, the entire City Lord Manor would be buried together with him. Bang! Only to see Lu Yenxue roaring, her cold underworld energy enveloped the heavens and earth. Frost drifted about, causing everyone to shiver from the cold. Her long hair fluttered in the wind as she roared in rage, breaking free from the domain and rushing towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian turned his gaze away from the City Lord and glanced at Lu Yenxue. God's hand circulated the energy in his body as his law energy condensed into a sword. When he saw Lu Yenxue rushing over, his silhouette flashed, moving like a phantom, as fast as a great rock. Die! Lu Yenxue stabbed out with a finger. The frost energy transformed into a terrifying ice dragon that shot towards Qin Wentian, engulfing him within. Qin Wentian's entire body was enveloped by the frost energy. But at this moment, that illusory figure slashed out with a sword. The Sword of Dreams. With a single sword strike, Lu Yenxue only felt the entire world turning white. It was like she couldn't see or feel the sword, only her frost energy could be felt. She was the ruler of this world. At this moment, in the world she was the ruler of, a sword manifested, erupting forth from the frost energy. No! Lu Yenxue screamed in shock, her eyes filled with terror. That sword strike actually caused her to enter a dreamscape. The sword was like a great rock, moving with extreme speed, slicing through bodies. The unexcelled, incomparably arrogant Lu Yenxue was slain with a single sword strike. At this moment, the City Lord was still hesitating. When he saw this shocking scene, he was speechless in his heart. His face was like dead ashes as he closed his eyes, his Tao heart was trembling. There was really such a genius in this world. He stood arrogantly in the air. How could there be anyone else in this world? He was the ruler of this world, deciding everything, peering down at the masses. At this instant, the City Lord seemed to have aged. That moment of hesitation caused his Tao heart to be damaged. From now on, it would be hard for him to advance any further. Chapter 1442. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. After that, he turned his gaze to the people of the Lu clan. I hope everyone can hear my words clearly. I view Lu Yaoyao as my younger sister. In the future, if my younger sister suffers any grievances in the Lu clan, I will hold all of you accountable. If there's anyone who dares to act against her, I will definitely wash the Lu clan with blood. You guys better watch yourselves. Chu Qingyi stared at his back as she slowly spoke, although we aren't fated, I will stand on the flat ground and look at you, waiting for the day when everyone in the world knows of me. Naturally. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. Lu Yenshua's attitude was extremely lofty. Other than her father, City Lord Lu, no one else could enter her eyes. She was the only existence here, able to decide the life and death of people. In fact, she even wanted to choose a marriage partner for Chu Qingyi, allowing Chu Qingyi to choose between Lu Zhanfei and Wu Tianjiao. Thank you. Even I hate myself when I was in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the Chu Qingyi I am now. Chu Qingyi's smile was gentle as she stared at Qin Wentian. At that time, I was also similar to Emo Xiaoxiao, thinking that I'm infallible. The Lu clan has no eyes, Lu Mu has no objections. Although City Lord Lu was filled with hatred in his heart and wanted to kill Qin Wentian here, he had to endure it. City Lord Lu saw that Lu Yenshue was killed but he still didn't act. He was very clear of Lu Yenshue's strength. She was killed by a single sword strike from Qin Wentian. This young man before him had extraordinary strength. Although he was only at the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm, regardless of his aura or combat prowess, they had all reached a shocking level. Lu Yenshue was killed with a single sword strike. A peak-stage Immortal King City Lord actually hesitated because of a single sentence from Qin Wentian. His Dao heart was damaged and right now, his countenance was pale, as though he had aged a lot in an instant. Lu Yenshue walked down from the Snowdrift Sage Hall, exuding a magnificent magnificence. The experts of the various powers in Cold Nether City all came to pay their respects. Other than wanting to get close to the City Lord Manor, it was also because of her relationship with Lu Yenshue. The daughter of the Lu clan in the City Lord Manor had outstanding talent and had extremely high achievements in the Snowdrift Sage Hall. Her status was extraordinary and many experts wanted to pay their respects to her. Lu Yao, have you ever heard of someone in this world who could break through to the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm from the Immortal Foundation realm in a mere tens of years, slaying a late-stage Immortal King Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall with a single sword strike? Chu Qingyi smiled as she looked at the departing figure. Lu Yao's heart shook slightly as she shook her head. That's right, there has never been such a person in this world. If he did not stand at the peak, who else could? But now, Wu Tianjiao, Wu Bufan, and Mo Xiaoxiao were dead. Big Brother Qin said that even immortal emperors were chasing after him. From this, one could see that even immortal emperors felt an intense threat from him. Just as Chu Qingyi had said, some people were born extraordinary. They were destined to be different from others. They could trample all the geniuses of their generation under their feet, defeat all those in the same cultivation level, and even surpass their cultivation level to do battle. This was something that couldn't be forced. Lu Yao felt warmth in her heart. She accepted Qin Wentian's kind intentions, only to feel her eyes turning slightly red. Earlier when her clan members mocked her, she truly felt very uncomfortable. For the sake of benefits, in order to curry favor with Mo Xiaoxiao and Lu Yenshue, no one stood on her side. All sorts of insults and curses could be heard. Big Brother Qin, in the future when you pass by the Lu clan, remember to come and visit me. Lu Yao smiled sweetly. Earlier when I wanted to leave the Lu clan, I was obstructed by all of you and was imprisoned here. Now, can I leave? Qin Wentian coldly asked. Chu Qingyi stared at Qin Wentian as she slowly spoke, you should know that I didn't help you because of anything. Today was supposed to be City Lord Lu's birthday banquet, a day of great joy. So many experts came to congratulate him, how glorious would that be? But now, City Lord Lu understood that even if he acted personally, he wouldn't have the confidence to win against Qin Wentian. Even if he won, he wouldn't be able to kill Qin Wentian. And Qin Wentian could easily slaughter the people of the Lu clan. After all, it was the Lu clan that offended Qin Wentian first. The hearts of everyone from the Lu clan trembled. They knew that Lu Yao, who was mocked by everyone earlier, would walk a different path. She would become the luckiest person in the Lu clan. Such a character, how could they allow them to humiliate her so wantonly? Qin Wentian even threatened to kill her, completely disregarding life. How could such a character not act to take revenge? With a single sword strike, Lu Yanxue was slain. Lu Yao's delicate body trembled. Indeed, given Qin Wentian's cultivation base and combat prowess, even if it was something he didn't need, it was still a supreme treasure to her and many others here. You are the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, I don't know what you lack. Do you have anything you want me to help with? Qin Wentian asked. A smile appeared in Qin Wentian's eyes. At this instant, the sharpness in his eyes was retracted. With a wave of his hand, an interspatial ring floated before Lu Yao. He then spoke, Lu Yao, you said before that you hope to obtain good divine weapons, as well as powerful cultivation arts. Within this ring, there are some that I specially selected for you. To me, they aren't of much use, but they should be able to aid your cultivation. You don't have to decline. The people from the Lu clan stared at the figure in the air, feeling the light radiating from him. They felt so ashamed that they couldn't even show their faces. Not long ago, they actually wanted to decide the life and death of Qin Wentian. How laughable was this? But at this moment, the happy event turned into a sad one. If we can start over, we can become very good friends. Qin Wentian spoke. He then continued, Chu Qingyi, no matter what, thank you. You said that you treat me as a younger sister. In that case, can I call you elder brother? Lu Yao smiled at Qin Wentian. Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes flashed with a gentle smile, extremely moving. Before this, everyone thought that Chu Qingyi was blind to have fallen in love with a trash. But now, they finally understood what sort of person Chu Qingyi had fallen in love with. They also understood that this was merely a one-sided love of Chu Qingyi, a one-sided love of the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. However, they didn't feel anything wrong about this, as though this was very normal. It was because the figure standing in the air was simply too dazzling. Even Lu Yanxue was killed by a single sword strike. Even the holy maiden Chu Qingyi wasn't on the same level as him. Naturally. Every word City Lord Lu spoke was incomparably heavy. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian as they sighed in their hearts. Earlier, they didn't allow him to leave. But now, they wanted him to leave. If Qin Wentian didn't leave, the Lu clan would be in for a calamity. Lu Yao. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over, staring at Lu Yao. His words caused Lu Yao to start. Staring at the figure in the air, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. She also didn't expect that this gentle and handsome young man would actually be so extraordinary. He could even be said to be unrivaled. Compared to the heaven chosen of the Wu clan, Wu Tianjiao, it was like comparing the boundless to a phoenix. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded. After that, he turned and departed in a carefree manner. City Lord Lu's countenance paled as he sighed in his heart. Indeed, their Lu clan was blind, offending such a character. He thought of the words spoken by Qin Wentian before this. You guys have no idea who I am and what sort of existence I am. When they first heard these words, all of them had mocking smiles on their faces. But now, when they thought back to it, they truly felt how ironic they were. Because I'm being pursued by an immortal emperor, I can't stay here and I can't do too much for you. During these days, you've been taking care of me with all your heart and kindness. In my heart, you are already like a younger sister to me. Back then when you were taking care of me, none of the people around you supported you. In fact, some of them even mocked and ridiculed you. There's no need for you to give the treasures you obtain to them, you can give them to those who treat you well. That wild hope in her heart would never become a reality. They were destined from the moment they were born, existences from different worlds. Not only that, the disparity between them would only grow greater and greater. I'm going to leave. Qin Wentian spoke. After causing such a huge commotion here, the news would surely leak out. Although the Dongxing Heaven Emperor was located in an extremely far location and might not be able to reach him, for safety's sake, they couldn't stay here any longer. At this moment, the people of the City Lord Manor felt their hearts trembling, incomparably shocked. Do you guys have any objections? Chu Qingyi. Qin Wentian spoke again, his eyes slowly turned over and landed on Chu Qingyi. The people of the Lu clan already felt numb in their hearts. There were also some people from the Snowdrift Sage Hall who were speechless, they didn't know what to feel. City Lord Lu, when I was unconscious, I was brought into the City Lord Manor. Lu Yao helped me consume a great recovery pill, it wasn't my decision to do so. I will naturally repay her kindness. However, I didn't do anything in the City Lord Manor. Lu Yanxue and the others kept saying that they wanted to decide my life and death. Do you guys have any objections if I kill them? Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed sharply as he stared at City Lord Lu. His words caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Even when facing a peak-stage immortal king, he was still so domineering. I understand. Qin Wentian nodded, feeling complicated in his heart. Once, he wanted nothing more than to kill this woman before him and even humiliate her. The two of them had a grudge, but he didn't expect that right now, Chu Qingyi would actually have feelings for him. However, Qin Wentian knew that it was impossible for him to accept this relationship just because Chu Qingyi helped him. Qin Wentian's figure gradually vanished. Lu Yao glanced at Chu Qingyi and asked, Big Brother Qin, can you really stand at the peak of the immortal realms? For such a character, when he was in dire straits, when you could stand on the same line as him, you didn't manage to grab hold of him, you didn't manage to enter his heart. And now, when he was already so lofty, if you wanted to get closer to him, Chu Qingyi knew that this wasn't realistic. She could only have a single thought in her heart, that was all. And now, Qin Wentian had actually accomplished the wish she spoke of. She understood that everything Qin Wentian did, was all because of the words she spoke to him as a joke. But now, the words she spoke to him had become reality. From now on, who in the Lu clan would dare to do anything to her? Lu Yanxue even wanted Chu Qingyi to personally kill Qin Wentian to prove her innocence. Chu Qingyi inclined her head and stared at Qin Wentian. Back then, she still had the qualifications to stand shoulder to shoulder with Qin Wentian. But now, she discovered that perhaps, she could only look up to this young man before her. In the birthday banquet of the Lu clan, City Lord Lu should be the main character. But today, there was only a single person in the lead. The person who was humiliated and looked down on by so many. The smile in Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes grew even more radiant. Qin Wentian nodded to her. After that, he turned to Lu Yao, goodbye. Chapter 1443. Qin Wentian flew on his sword, exiting the cold nether immortal city. Since he has already been exposed, he shouldn't stay here for long. In addition, he had no way to predict the attitude of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. After all, he had killed 2 holy maidens and the Snowdrift Sage Hall was a peak power. It wasn't impossible for them to vent their anger on him. Right now, Qin Wentian was already at the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. His combat prowess had already surpassed his cultivation level. His demon sword was like a great rock, moving as fast as lightning. During these several months, Qin Wentian passed by several cities and obtained a detailed jade map from one of the cities. The various major regions of the central regions were marked out clearly and there were even descriptions of the emperor-ranked powers and above in the central regions. Not only for the peak powers, there were also descriptions of the powers established by initial stage immortal emperors. The value of this map was extremely high, but Qin Wentian felt that it was worth the price he spent. The central regions of the immortal realms were extremely vast and experts were as common as the clouds. If one didn't include the myriad devil islands and desolate mountains, the central regions was the largest region with the highest number of major powers. Qin Wentian could use the spatial tunnel to leave this place, but he didn't. He needed to temper himself eventually. That ambush on the ancient pathway on the Demon God Mountain caused Qin Wentian to feel an intense sense of danger. He had to grow stronger to be able to deal with all sorts of unexpected dangers. If not, even immortal emperors might not be able to protect him. For this trip, Qin Wentian's target was the city of ancient emperors. Along the way, he would be tempering himself. During these days, Qin Wentian had also witnessed many strange things, as well as many battles and massacres. Today, in an ancient tribe outside the city, screams of misery rang out. Over there, a powerful evil cultivator could be seen. Boundless black qi gushed forth from him, gushing towards the people in the tribe. The black qi circulated frenziedly within the bodies of the people, absorbing their essence, qi, and spirit. After that, the black qi flowed into the body of the black-robed figure in the air. The entire tribe was in a state of destruction. An old man and a young girl were madly fleeing outside the tribe. They didn't dare to soar into the air for fear of being noticed. However, at this moment, the black qi gushed over. The young girl screamed, "Grandpa, the devil qi is here. You go first." The old man suddenly turned around and ran towards the black qi. The girl screamed and cried, "Grandpa. Let's go." The old man shouted madly. The black air current struck out like black lightning, vaguely transforming into a dark face, swallowing the old man. The old man's aura surged, but he knew he couldn't block it at all. A look of despair appeared on his face. At this moment, a sword came from the west. The sword whistled through the air and directly pierced through the sky. With a soft sound, the sword pierced through the face formed by the dark qi and directly caused it to explode. The old man's eyes narrowed. He raised his head and saw a figure flying over from afar. He was like a celestial being, with peerless elegance. "Grandpa." The girl ran to the old man's side and shouted into the void, "Senior, please save us. Do you wish to meddle in other people's business?" From afar, in the tribe, that evil cultivator turned his gaze over, staring at Qin Wentian with coldness in his eyes. His cultivation base was extremely powerful, he was actually at the Immortal King realm. "Your cultivation methods are too cruel. You shouldn't exist in this world." As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, the demon sword slashed out explosively. It was like a great rock, slashing through the air towards that evil cultivator. The evil cultivator's evil qi transformed into a black dragon that howled in rage. However, the sword light of the great rock was incomparably resplendent, directly penetrating through everything, destroying the black dragon. The demon sword slashed out horizontally, breaking apart the void. In the air, an incomparably resplendent beam of sword light appeared. With a light sound, that evil cultivator stared at Qin Wentian in terror before his body exploded, directly dying. The sword returned, landing before Qin Wentian's feet. "Many thanks to Senior for saving our lives." The old man knelt on the ground. The young girl stared at Qin Wentian with shock and gratitude. The others in the tribe also knelt to express their gratitude. "It's nothing much." Qin Wentian shook his head. After that, he soared on his sword and departed, he couldn't bear to accept their kowtow. The immortal realms were too vast, it was impossible for him to use his entire life's worth of effort to eradicate evil cultivators. He could only do his best when he encountered them. After a few more days, Qin Wentian came to a demon kingdom. This demon kingdom was a world of demons, a place established by a demon emperor. He governed this area and gathered many greater demons in this demon kingdom. Ancient trees towered up into the sky, stretching as far as the eye could see. At this moment, in the outer regions of the demon kingdom, a group of young celestial phenomenon ascendants came here to temper themselves. There were both males and females in this group, all of them came from minor clans and clans. They had chosen to join a sect for their cultivation and came here to temper themselves. On the way here, they slew many demonic beasts and even collected the corpses of the demonic beasts. These were all treasures that were extremely valuable. That should be enough. If we continue, it would be extremely dangerous. Someone spoke. Don't worry, let's kill some more demonic beasts. We originally came here for tempering ourselves, what's there to be afraid of? Someone suggested. Although there were some who were unwilling, they still continued to advance. They found a nest of golden demonic apes and initially prepared to retreat, but they discovered that a golden demonic ape was actually giving birth. Hence, they gathered their courage and advanced, killing their way over and killing the demonic ape, preparing to split the demonic beast's corpse. But at this moment, a heaven-shaking roar of rage rang out from afar. A terrifying golden demonic ape appeared, slaughtering all of them. That person who instigated them to come here was the fastest to escape. At the same time, there was also a female who fled together with him. However, she was already heavily injured. That young man felt that he would be a burden to them. He actually had evil intentions in his heart. Staring at the graceful figure of the female, an evil smile appeared on his face as he walked over. "What are you doing?" That female couldn't move freely and had injuries on her body. When she saw the look in his eyes, she felt her entire body turning cold. It's inconvenient to bring you along. Rather than dying in the hands of demonic beasts, why don't you help me achieve my goal?" The young man laughed evilly. As the sound of his voice faded, a beam of sword light descended, directly slaying him. The female's expression froze. She inclined her head and saw an extraordinary silhouette standing in the air. "Many thanks to Senior for saving my life." The female spoke with gratitude. The young man continued forward, yet the female spoke, "Senior, can you bring me along with you? Since you made your own choice, you have to bear the consequences yourself. If it wasn't for the fact that this person was too despicable, I wouldn't even bother to act." A cold voice rang out. Qin Wentian continued on his way. He had witnessed everything that happened earlier and had no sympathy for those who died. Qin Wentian continued on his way, advancing through the demonic beast forest. But at this moment, he halted his steps and spoke, "Come out." As the sound of his voice faded, a golden bird appeared. In an instant, light illuminated the area. This was a golden bird, a variant of the golden-winged great roc. Its ancestor had the bloodline of the golden-winged great roc in his veins. "You ate that golden ape?" Qin Wentian stared at the golden bird as he asked. A human killed the female ape and the demonic ape took revenge by killing the human. As for himself, he died in the hands of an even more powerful demonic beast. This was the law of the jungle and was also the epitome of the immortal realms. It was just that in this place, it was even more straightforward. Bzz. The golden bird opened its beak and let out a shrill cry. In just an instant, boundless golden lightning shot towards Qin Wentian. Golden swords filled the sky, slicing the ancient tree into pieces. Boom! Qin Wentian's body shimmered with light. The golden swords unceasingly slammed into him but he remained unmoved. The golden bird suddenly rushed out with lightning speed, radiating a resplendent golden light. It transformed into a gigantic bird, its sharp talons slashing towards Qin Wentian. Its eyes were filled with loftiness, exuding the aura of a golden-winged great roc. Qin Wentian lifted his palms and pressed down. A moment later, a sword manifested, causing a terrifying collision in the air. The body of the golden bird shone with an even more intense golden light, yet its body was unceasingly penetrated by the sword qi. It turned and wanted to flee, but Qin Wentian grabbed out with his palm, directly grabbing it, causing it to have no way to escape. Bzz, bzz. A group of immortal kings flew over. One of them clasped his hands to Qin Wentian, "I'm from the Black Metal Emperor sect and have been pursuing this golden bird for many days. It's just that its speed is too fast and I have no way to catch up to it. To think that you managed to intercept it. Can I request for you to make a deal with me? I will definitely not let you suffer a loss. Black Metal Emperor Sect. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This time around, he would pass by a city on his way there and the Black Metal Emperor Sect was one of them. You want to use it to forge weapons? Qin Wentian asked. Seems like you know about my Black Metal Emperor Sect. Truth be told, this golden bird is indeed a top-grade material for forging weapons. The young man nodded. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the depths of the forest. He sighed, you guys hunt demonic beasts to forge weapons. From what I know, the demonic beasts here are all controlled by a demon emperor. Aren't you guys worried that the demon emperor would slaughter his way into the human world for revenge? As his cultivation grew stronger, his heart also grew more complicated when he saw the rise of the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Demonic beasts and humans didn't have any intrinsic differences. Demonic beasts were cruel and tyrannical, but weren't humans as greedy and cruel as well? It's already destined that humans and demonic beasts are enemies. There's no way to change this. Even if we don't hunt demonic beasts, the demonic beasts would still come out to hunt humans for food. It's just that both sides don't want to touch each other's bottom line. It's rumored that many greater demons from the desolate 10,000 mountain range have already come out of their mountains and started to wreak havoc in the human world. They want to infiltrate the human world and right now, countless humans have already died under the hooves of the demonic beasts. Maybe, this is an innate enmity, there's no way to change this. That young man spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. It was indeed as the young man had said. The demonic beasts from the desolate 10,000 mountain range have already come out. Qin Wentian stared at the horizons as he mumbled. There's no problem for me to give this demonic beast to you. I don't need to exchange it for anything. Can you introduce some weaponsmiths to me from the Black Metal Emperor Sect? I need them to forge a few divine weapons for me. Is that possible? Qin Wentian asked. There's naturally no problem. I will introduce you to the most outstanding weaponsmiths I know to forge divine weapons for you. Since you have this intention, how about we head to the Black Metal Emperor Sect together? The young man smiled as he invited. Since Qin Wentian could capture this golden bird, his strength was definitely extraordinary. They had chased after it for so many days but they still couldn't capture it. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded, you're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.